can get a copyright strike on YouTube. Are you able to turn the
Oh,
music?
turn it.
Yeah.
You're right. Um,
Okay. You see the prompt?
so
Are,
I
are,
do.
are men and women friends, or just waiting their turn? What do you think?
So I think men and women can be friends,
Uh-huh.
but it's always something hidden behind it. I wouldn't suggest it, especially if they've been close before.
Right. Right.
So no, I don't think men and women should be friends and think it's just gonna be, oh, we just friends. We ain't never did this before. A never can turn into, oh, we gonna do this. I ain't got time for that.
Yeah.
No, but I do have one male friend, and he lived nowhere near me, so
Right.
that's fine. Like a long distance male friendship
Uh-huh.
is perfectly fine. But if y'all like anything like an hour away from each other, nah, it ain't gonna work. Cause who ain't gonna drive no hour to sneak around and do whatever it is they're gonna do?
Oh, that's a different conversation about the driving and sneaking around part.
No, but I'm just saying that's why men and
Yeah,
women can't be friends.
yeah. Because if we talking about hello, Sam Sarah, you join the conversation. Jess, what up, Jess? Join the conversation. Um, I need to hear from the ladies and the men. So I think it's the attraction level. If the attraction level between the two, or even just the one, is to the point where nobody got self control, you can have a problem. But then I would also say this:
I
if
agree, Jess.
and then I would also say this: if Lady T, what's going on? We talking about single people, not people in a relationship trying to have friends with the opposite sex, right?
No,
If we
no,
talk
we're
about
not
two
talking
single
about
people,
that.
right,
Yeah, two single people.
and things match up well between each other, then at that point, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If the two mutually say, you know what, we've been friends for a while, it's risky, but let's see what we got here. Because I've seen situations where man and a woman friends got married and they got a family. You feel me? Does that happen all the time? No. It'd be
No.
nice. It'd be nice if it did, but it doesn't happen all the time. You know.
Yeah,
So I think there's many factors that roll into that.
it is. I agree. I definitely agree. But single friends, men and women that are like, you have some people that are just, friends. But then
Right.
you got some people that be like, oh no, we friends, and then y'all play fight with each other. Ma'am, that is not your friend.
Mm.
Well, sir, that is not your friend.
Well,
Y'all are more than friends. Y'all just don't want to tell nobody. Like, but then again, it's not my business.
yeah, yeah. If the two, and here's the thing. All right, Sam Sarah, I see you. Lady T, you could join when you're ready, okay? So here's the thing, right? Um, I've had, relationships in the past where, I was friends with a woman for maybe like a couple months or a year, and then, we decided, hey, let's try to see what this is about. But it was mutual. You understand? It wasn't like, nobody felt forced, And then I had female friends I've never crossed that line with. But that's because outside of them, I still had healthy romantic relationships with women outside of that circle. You understand?
Yeah.
But guys typically, I'm gonna just keep it real. We don't. I think sometimes when we have a female friend, it's kind of like impromptu. It's not necessary. Well, not impromptu. It kind of just happens as opposed to actually going out there looking for a female friend. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So let me Man, he got a wild name.
Yeah, this grimy,
We just
this
gonna call him
fifth
Grimy.
is grimy.
You
This
know
is a good
him?
subject.
Yeah, I know him.
All right, just explain the rules to him real quick. I got to mute up, okay?
All right. No foul language, be respectful. Um, this is the host page. His name is Fifth. And no disrespect. But you gotta answer the prompt before you do anything else.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, my headphones are terrible. When I saw the ad, I'm like, I like this subject.
Yeah, it's not too many things that you get on here and like for real. So go ahead and answer the prompt for me right quick.
What am I gonna answer? What's the question?
Are men and women friends or just waiting their turn?
Waiting for the turn.
Why you feel like that?
Um, because I've had females that I used to be friends with, and they tell me that I basically had you already know my story. I had a girl that I used to date, and she had a lot of guy friends. They only just stuck around whenever she got sad or mad at me, and they're just waiting for their turn to kick it. I mean, I do that sometimes with other guys, females, because I want to. But yeah,
Okay. All right. See you later. Lady T says some men can't have women as friends, respecting, got your back life. Yeah, that's true. But
Yeah.
at the same time, do y'all think, including the people in the comments, anybody can answer, do anybody think that, um, hey Jess, do anybody think that a man and woman can strictly be friends without ever coming to anything romantic?
Highly unlikely.
hmm, that's good.
And I would only say the scenario where that could happen is if they knew each other like for generations. It's like they're family friends or, they're cousins, something like that. But a random heterosexual man meeting a random heterosexual woman like at college or in the workplace and stuff like that, like to me, y'all are not truly ever gonna be real friends because somebody's always gonna want something.
I get it. I definitely understand. You mind
So,
answering the prompt first though? Just
Of course. Are men and women friends or just waiting their turn? Yeah, not usually. I don't believe that men and women are what I consider friends. I think people use that word very loosely. Um, but the reason why I believe that that's not always true and some people are just waiting their turn is because that male friend and that female friend won't do certain things together. Like I had a quote unquote male friend and he was like, come on this cruise ship with me for my birthday, but you need to invite some of your friends because I don't want it to be just us. So then we're not friends then, right? Because if you think anything can happen with it just being the two of us going to lunch, going on a cruise ship or whatever like that, then you really don't see me as a platonic friend. I could go on a trip with a girl who is my friend and never think that I'm gonna be knocking her boots down, like on the cruise, because it would just there's no opportunity for it. So because I think people put special parameters around like, oh, when you get a girlfriend, I gotta talk to you less, or when you get a man, I gotta talk to you less, or we can't do certain things together. Y'all are really not truly friends, and that's my answer.
okay.
hey, hey, what's going on, Jess?
Hi, Fifth.
Hello, Queen. How you doing?
Blessed and highly favored. How are you?
That's what I'm talking about. So, have you ever had a male friend that you wouldn't mind like dating? Have you ever had that in life?
No.
Okay.
I've had male friends who wanted to date me.
But
You
you
know,
never wanted to date them back.
no, I don't believe that. I don't pursue men for soul friendship. Like I just don't believe that's possible. So I've never had a man that like I was even remotely interested in romantically, and I just like settled for being his friend. I've never done that.
So you never been friends with a man, and at some point in the friendship, you was like, you know what, that guy, he's not a bad looking guy, and he's got good character. There's potential here, but I won't pursue it. But if he pursues me, maybe he may get a chance. You never been in that situation?
No, because if he's cute, I'm gonna want him, and I'm gonna make it very, very clear.
Well, I'm glad you said that because,
Clear.
typically what I mentioned was I don't think necessarily men go out of their way to make female friends. I think sometimes men meet women and then somewhat of a friendship may go there, but then there could be like an attraction level. And he's like, you know what? Let me see what's up with her. So he's cool with her, but not to the point where he gets friend zoned.
Mm. And
So,
like,
yeah.
and I think that like I should be friends with my significant other. However, I would not pursue this relationship out of friendship. So like I think it should come with our burgeoning relationship that we should be friends. But no, I've never looked at a man and was like, oh, I would just love to be friends with him, like that I thought was attractive. Now, if the only people I've ever wanted to be friends with are people that I just found to be like I admired, but there was no bone in my body that said, oh, well, hopefully this can grow into something later on. I think that's like high key manipulative of people. And
I
girls do
dated
that.
a
And girls do
girl.
that all the time to men. They'll put the men on the back burner, and that man wants you. He wants you.
But usually when that happen and then it's done vice versa, the man put the girl on the back burner, they be like, oh, but I have feelings for him and he's talking to her and all this extra stuff. You got to be careful of that too, because you can't put a man in a friendship zone and think that's what he gonna say.
Hmm.
Thank you, Mila. Thanks for saying that.
He
I
might
was
though.
just about to say that.
No, ain't no way.
I,
Ain't no way.
I had a
You
female.
can't do that.
I
You
had a
can't do that
female.
to a man. And like I come on his panel and I tell everybody every time, I am a girl's girl, but right is right and wrong is wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had a female friend and I dated her. It didn't last long.
You said high school?
No, he said it didn't
I had a
last
female,
long.
Oh.
But
and she decided to do other stuff. Now she's struggling.
Mm.
But yeah,
yeah, that's like Grammy done been through some things, okay? If you think you done heard the worst with the people that I be on live with, this man done been through a lot.
I don't know.
Yeah, I would. See, here's the thing, right? I used to say that ladies, your husbands, like women who are like looking everywhere for a husband years later. Where's my husband? Where's my husband? Right? And I'd be like, yo, your husband, you probably friend zone him, at one point of your life, and he probably would have worshipped the ground you walked on. You know what I'm saying? And so I jokingly say stuff like that all the time. Not in all
Yeah,
cases,
but
obviously.
when you say
Could
it
be true
though,
though.
like don't nobody take you serious. They be like, oh no, but this, that, and the third, and no, and this is like this, and I just be like, y'all not listening.
But again, I always say that just because he's a good person doesn't mean he's your person. Like I feel like sometimes people will be like, oh well, he's a good guy, so why don't you give him a chance? And it's like, you should be a good man for yourself. Like I should be a good woman for myself. But me being a good person doesn't automatically make me entitled to the relationship that I say I want from this other individual. They also have to choose me.
Yeah, but when I say that, I don't mean that from an entitled standpoint because nobody's entitled to nobody. We're talking about another person. We're not talking about, you going to the store and buying cologne. You know what I'm saying? So I don't mean that. I just mean like as far as the guy that's actually going to, or girl, because there are men who friend zone women, right? I don't want to make it seem like it's only women friend zoning men. But what I'm saying is you have situations where the actual person who would have been really good for you, but I do understand this. If you don't want that person, you don't want that person. That's fine. But I've seen situations where a woman had a guy friend. She gets with somebody else or marries somebody else. And then now she's like, you know what? Since that didn't work out, let me see if my guy friend is still single and available.
Yeah,
That's
I've
That's
heard
bad.
that
messed up.
before.
That's the
I've
part
heard that
that's
before.
Of course, that's messed
unacceptable.
up.
That's unacceptable.
But how do we know that they will be good in relationship with each other? You know, like how do we know that the extent of their relationship isn't just friends? And
Right.
he may have to deal with his like romantic feelings for her and whatnot. But like but sometimes people will look at the girl saying, "Oh, well, you should give the guy who's been in your DMs for 6 years or the guy you friends on a chance," as if as if people know that he's compatible to her. And that's to me, that's the link people are missing. Like just because he's a good person and would worship her doesn't mean that they would be compatible in relationships.
Yeah, true. But you know how you get to know that? It's called exploration. If you don't want to explore it, then you don't want to explore it. That's fine. But if you explored it and it still falls flat, but at least you explored it. You know what I'm
You ain't
saying?
got no friend no more.
Hey, well, it is what it is. Listen, there's an expiration date. Let's just keep it real. There's an expiration date at some point between men and women being friends on this particular note. It could be somebody gets married or somebody gets into a relationship. So now the contact between them two have to just dwindle down a little bit out of respect.
But that's what I said. That's if that has to happen, y'all are not friends. I truly believe that. Like if you because you get married, now I can't talk to you. Or again, like if we're talking at 11 o'clock to 4 o'clock in the morning, y'all are not being friends. Like I don't think that that is friend vibes. That is I like you more and I'm waiting in the waiting room, right? Again, that's not real friends. But if you're just being able to go out with your female friend and that has to stop because now you have a wife and she may get jealous of what could be happening between y'all, and you're like, okay, well, let me stop doing that because clearly it's a problem. Again, I don't think y'all are real friends because the wife should be able to be included in what y'all do together. It shouldn't have to stop.
Hold on. Hey, does anybody have Sam Sarah?
Hello.
How you doing? I actually I want Jess's point to be answered, but
I'm
Sam,
good. How are
can
you?
good. Can you answer the topic and then I need somebody to reply to Jess right there. So hey,
Uh,
are men and women friends or just waiting their turn? What do you think, Sam Sarah?
well, I think it does depend on the dynamic, but I find often enough if you leave that little crack open there and a man sees the crack, he will try to take advantage of the opportunity because they hunt, right? So that's just their nature, whether you want to admit that or not. However, I don't find anything wrong with being friends with a man, whether you talk 2 hours, 3 hours. You have to see the dynamic of the friendship level. I have a lot of guy friends, and most of them have not flirted with me yet. Does that mean they're not going to do it? Absolutely not. I don't know if they're going to do it or not when the opportunity arises. And it can happen. Most of the time, it does happen. So when that dynamic happens, you know, and you know. But if a woman does not open that key, shall I say, then the man doesn't go there, if you know what I mean. So a woman holds that power, I find, in that stance, personally.
Okay, let me go back to what Jess said. So Jess mentioned if you have a friend of the opposite sex, you get in a relationship or you get married, and now the friendship between y'all two have to slow down or stop immediately, that they were never your friends, right? But the reason why I mentioned the out of respect part is because I don't know too many wives that are okay with their husband hanging out with their female friend.
Exactly, and vice versa. But however, However, there should be a little bit of that, I guess, freedom level where you don't really cut off the friendship because you knew them before. But yeah, like you said, there has to be that respect level as well. And that takes trust, having a certain level of trust between you two to be able to do that. Because, like, if I'm going to be with someone, I'm going to make it clear. I have guy friends, you know, but me knowing when to actually talk to them and on the phone, and not somebody would know how I am, and they would automatically know that when you're in a relationship with someone, when you're married to someone, that you know what your role is. It's just automatic. You don't have to be told, right? And a person that trusts you and knows who you are will understand that.
Yeah, my biggest problem with that is
Sorry, because I
I
wanted
don't.
to answer what you said, Jess.
Oh, sorry, what'd you say?
Well, I wanted to reply to what Fifth
Oh,
said
okay.
when he re-asked your question. I don't get mad at my husband for talking to his female friend only because, for one, she's married, and two, she likes both sex. So, and that's something that my husband don't get in the middle of. So I don't care if he talks to her.
So, Mila, notice how I said hang out.
Well, yeah, they do. They hang out.
And what if she wasn't married?
Heck, I almost said, heck, no, not gonna happen.
There we go.
No, sorry, not sorry. It's not gonna happen.
And so again, I feel like that's the problem. Not from the spouse's perspective necessarily, but from the friend's perspective. Like if you have a female friend, like if I'm the man, I have a female friend, and because I get into a relationship, I now stop talking as much to my female friend. To me, as the new girl, as the new girlfriend, I would be very, very, very suspicious. Because why can't you maintain that same friendship with her when I'm around? Why do y'all not have to be different people because I'm a part of the relationship? Why can't we all be friends together? But to me, it seems like, again, from what my experience, that people will flirt a little bit with their quote unquote friends. People may hang out, do things after hours that would look suspicious. And there's no problem with it because nobody has no eyes on them. Because, it's just I'm filling this situation out. But then somebody gets a girlfriend or whatever, and now they want to act like we've never been doing this, for 5 years beforehand. But you have.
But you
The
know what I
relationship was
find,
suspicious.
right? You know what I find? Sorry to cut you off. You know what I find? There's a level of insecurity, some kind of past experience, some lack of trust in the relationship that anyone can feel that way when a man is talking to another woman. That's my personal view on that.
I agree.
So,
Because I wouldn't be with a man.
Well,
I wouldn't even get married to a man that I thought was being nefarious with his female friends. So why am I in a situation like that to begin with?
that's true.
Unless
Um,
I'm jealous.
but Jess, it doesn't
Hold
have to
on,
always
Fifth,
be.
before you say what you're gonna say, my daughter wanted me to tell you sound like Drewski.
She said I sound like. Oh wow, that's the second time I heard that.
Yeah,
Oh my
she just
gosh.
wanted me to tell you that.
That's funny. That's the second time I heard that in life.
Maybe
You
Drewski
know.
older brother, but
No, she said he sound just like Drewski. I said, what?
but like peep game, right? Shout outs to Lux in the comments. What up, Lux? You ain't been here in a while. But yeah, I mean, it's like this. It's not always nefarious. Like, all right, so Jess, you speak about your experience, so I'm gonna talk about mine. I'm gonna be a little candid, right? So I have a female friend who I grew up with. We like family. We basically like cousins. You know what I'm saying? Grandmothers went to high school together, all that, right? She got married. She still live in New York. I live here in Texas, right? So we don't talk as much anymore. I'm not offended, no hard feelings. We like family anyway, but she got married. You know what I mean? And I'm the one who backed off for the sake of respect. You know what I mean? I didn't want her to be in a situation where she got to explain things to her husband. But she definitely made her husband aware, like, hey, one of my great friends I grew up with, we cool, it's nothing crazy. We cool, we ain't never like, but you know, he's a friend of mine, and every now and then I may call him and talk to him. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I don't hear from her a lot, but we like family, so I don't take it offensive. I don't take it offensive at all. You know, so I have that situation going on. So, you know, just you don't have that situation. So I know you probably look at that like, man, that ain't your friend. Fifth, that ain't your friend. But she's like family. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really take it any offense. You know, it's out of J Dub. Why did I back off? I mean, it's out of respect. It's out of respect. You know what I'm saying? I don't think, you know, the male friend should be, you know, on the phone with the wife every day. You know what I'm saying? And we had that kind of friendship before she got married that we used to talk every day. You know, but it's out of respect. Thank you, Lady T. Someone understands in the comments. Someone does.
But
You
that's what
know?
I'm saying. Like, wouldn't that mean that all of her friendships decrease in their frequency? Because what I'm talking about specifically, obviously, when you get a husband or whatever, you know, like you now have a different priority. So I'm not necessarily talking about like them having new priorities in the friendship. Y'all can't go out as much. I'm saying y'all get married and your specifically opposite sex friendships have to stop. Or y'all have to stop talking to your opposite sex friends. But she can be on FaceTime with her girlfriend every day. That's to me the nuance of what would show me that there's a level either of jealousy of the spouse or y'all weren't really friends to begin with.
Just so you were is it black and white or is there any gray area with you on this subject? I'm just curious.
I think I just presented a gray area.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
That gray's a little that's a dark gray, but okay.
Is it? Is it negro?
It's dang near. It's smoke gray. How about that? It's smoke gray.
I'm being very, very fair. Okay.
Okay. It's
Because
smoke
again,
gray. Yeah.
I don't know if you know her husband's situation, but maybe her husband feels a kind of way. Because even when you were telling the story, you said that she was also backing off. So y'all both backed off for different reasons. It seems.
No, I established the boundary. I backed off because, well, let's put it like this: we had a conversation, and what was understood was, hey, you know, if we can't talk like we used to, don't worry about it. I'm not offended. I get it. You're married now. It's cool. You know what I mean? And she had to adjust to that. It was a hard adjustment because we were, like I said, we're like family. We grew up together, you know, church family, all of that, family. You know what I'm saying? Like she's basically my cousin. You understand? You know, we knew each other since we was kids. Um, we talk every now and then. It's spread out, you know. It's not that we don't talk. Well, we just don't talk as much. And then also it's kind of out of sight as well because I don't live in New York anymore. You understand? I do think this, if I was in a relationship or if I was married, I think we would probably like have like couples nights out or something like that. That's possible. But because I'm single, I don't think that's something that happens.
But y'all should though. But okay, so I'm a little confused. Not confused. I just had one question. So you're the one who initiated the conversation about y'all's communication being different.
Yes.
So she just acquiesced to you because you brought up the concern, not because she wanted to do anything different.
Yeah. I brought up I brought it up because I know how men. That's another thing, just you got to understand me. This is a man knowing how other men are, right? We're territorial by nature. That's just part of our protection. So the thing is that I don't want to put the husband in a situation where he feels like he's got to be on this super guard because me and her grew up together, not me and him. You get it?
But yeah, that's why I would think, again, I don't know why she acquiesced, but I would advocate for you to my husband if there's no problem. But the fact that she acquiesced to you just saying, hey, I'm a pull back, you know, like clearly that shows her respect for your position and you just being like, I would be uncomfortable getting in the middle of your situation now with your husband. But we don't even know if her husband told her something before that meeting, and then she's like, dang, now Fitz saying something to me. So maybe this is a thing. I feel like there's so many holes in this situation.
It's possible, and you know what? It's not that I'm withholding information. I'm just telling you information that I know.
No, yeah, of course.
Yeah, because I will say that me and her been, like I said, me and her been friends for a very long time through her relationships before she got married. I know a situation that happened with an ex of hers, and it became a problem. I met him, we seemed okay, but anytime they had an argument, my name came up. You understand? My name came up, and it was almost like he felt some type of way about us being friends like that.
He was
So
jealous of y'all friendship. That's what it
Exactly.
was.
right. Okay.
You being
So
jealous of somebody that she's not in a relationship or trying to be in a relationship with this person. That makes no sense. He didn't want her talking to you. That's what that is.
right. Okay. So boom, right? That was an ex. So because I learned from that relationship, when she got married, I said I'm not even gonna let the next situation be like the last. So let me just and I remember giving her an example. I was like, yo, I'm not gonna say her name, but I was like, yo, E. I was like, E, remember what happened with Jay? I said, so this is why I think we should do it like this from now on. And she was like, okay, I can respect that.
You let a
Okay,
jealous
I get
ex
that part.
get in the middle of your relationship with her fifth. Come on now.
Hey, Jess, when you love your friend that much, you're actually willing to lose them in that way if that's what it is, because it's not about you. It's not about you anymore. It's about them and the life that they're trying to have right now. We're still friends, but what I'm saying is that's the love that I have for her. I was willing to sacrifice me and her talking every day so that she could have a healthy marriage.
I'm talking about the ex. I'm talking about the ex specifically. Like, she clearly is not with that ex, right?
Yes.
But the stain of his insecurity, which is nothing but demonic forces, has now perpetuated the future. So she's not even with the guy who had the problem in the past, but now we're initiating certain things and boundaries off of a guy she's not even connected to no more. I think that is showing just a level of how this pervasive, what Samsara said, this insecurity will destabilize. And again, this is just my perspective. I would think that if I'm coming into somebody's life and they already have a situation going on, I'm not going to try to tell them, hey, remove your friends, remove your stability, remove your community. I'm going to see if I can then be a part of said community. But I find it very crazy that the ex was trying to tell her that, hey, I got a problem with you and your community. Because people need their community outside of their romantic relationships.
You know what, Jess? See, this is why I like when you come on the panel, right? Because you have an opposing view, but it's respectful, and I do know that you respect me. So I'm glad you answer it that way. But guess what, Jess? I know how to talk to you. So I get what you're saying. But you know what, Jess? I would say this. One of these days, I'm sure you want to get married, right, Jess? You want to get married?
Of course.
Okay. And you don't have any male friends right now, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
You don't have any male friends. Guess what? You're a good target in a good way for a man to marry you, because he ain't even got to deal with what I was talking about.
At all.
Ain't
I
nothing
agree
in the
with
way.
you.
Just
I
ain't
agree.
nothing in the way. Nothing.
I wouldn't want him if he did have a problem. I could not be with him.
Okay, but just you ain't gotta. All right, let me get the J Dub, because me and you could do this all day. J Dub,
That's so funny.
I agree with her though.
J Dub, how you doing, J Dub? Welcome back. It's been a while.
It's been a long time. How are you guys?
Good, good. And then after you, I'm gonna get the Lady T because she's saying some good stuff in the comments. J Dub, the panel, the prompt: are men and women friends or just waiting their turn?
I think you can be friends. I really think it depends on how you guys meet and how old you were. But I also think that that happens a lot where men is creepy and they're just waiting their turn. But that's fucking weird to me. I had a situation I was kind of saying in the comments. I had a really, really good best friend. He was a guy we met in high school, but nothing ever like romantic. It was I can't talk. It was like purely platonic. And then I met my ex-husband and we all would hang out together as friends. Um, and then one day my ex was like, "Oh, I don't want you hanging out with him anymore." And mind you, like I knew his whole family. Like I had a separate room in his house. Like we were best friends. I know that sounds weird, but his parents were there and everything. But so I stopped hanging out with him out of respect. My ex was very toxic, so that was dumb of me, but whatever, I was young. And then they continued to hang out as friends, but I just couldn't go. It was ridiculous now looking back at it, and I lost a friend because I mean, we're still acquaintances, but it's not the same at all.
Okay. I'm gonna get back to that creepy comment in a moment.
Okay.
Let me get the Lady T.
Let
Lady
me,
T.
Pip, can you drop me right quick because I'm driving.
Okay. All right, Lady T, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. You see the topic. I seen you in the comment section. Are men and women friends or just waiting their turn? What do you think?
Okay, so it is possible that is men and women can be friends and they're totally respectful and they have their boundaries and there's no attraction. It's mostly there as a very good friendship and in the long run they got each other's back and it's cool as gold and they respect each other's boundaries. So if they want to end up dating one day, they respect that and they know their boundaries. There's no, oh, you're spending too much time and all that other stuff with your significant other kind of deal. It's more so of like a respect thing and they know when to like, take a step back, but they still got their friends back regardless. Like they don't have to be in their friends like, you know, like all the time. They can just be there like when their friend needs them. They don't need to. Like that's what good friends do. And then there's some men that just cannot be friends with women because they just literally just think with their pants and that's about it. And they just can't. They see a woman and it's a turn on and they just can't deal. So it is possible in many situations and then in some cases not so.
Hey, what do you say about the women who have male friends who basically have like they get all the chivalry benefits, but then give their attention to another guy, and then he actually ends up winning her. Meanwhile, all the chivalry came from the male friends. What do you think about that?
Well, when it comes to each and own anthem, so sometimes like, you'll end up falling for someone else. And it's not really what a man can do. It's the connection. It's a lot of different things that is more so for it to become a relationship. See what I mean? So it's not just what you do and you could be there for a woman all that you want, but at the end of the day, if there's no true spiritual connection, there's no romantic connection, there's no there's so much more aspects of it, and that's usually what it comes down to. But when it comes to relationships, it's like if a person's for you, they're for you and they're going to be fully for you.
Anybody else want to speak to that?
I think it was manipulative on the girl's part to be taking advantage of a situation that she knows the guy is doing solely because he likes her. But I also find it very performative for a man to be chivalrous just to get in her pants or just to get a relationship from her. I think he should be doing that regardless. So to me, they both could be very icky people.
Yeah, and I also don't think, well, I believe that man who is being chivalrous is, that's his choice to do that. So no matter if she was, like, no matter what she did, he still made that choice. You can't really dictate what other people do, in my opinion.
You know, I used to,
Period.
I used to give this advice to some guys, right? I'd be like, hey, fellas, if you got a female friend, don't compliment her. Don't say she look good. Don't say none of that. just don't save that for women who don't want to be. Save that for women who don't want to be platonic with you. You know what I'm saying? Don't give her no. Don't gas her head up. Don't give her a big head. Tell her she fine and all that. Don't, if she asks how I look, just be like, yeah, you look alright. You know what I mean? Save your good compliments. Save your good compliments for the women who don't want to be platonic with you, because it's a waste. You know what I mean? I'm being cynical and joking when I say this, but I'm just saying. You know what I mean? So Zacchaeus, what's going on, Zacchaeus?
Hey, what's good? How's everything? You can hear me good?
Good. What's going on, brother? You see the just funny. You see the prompt or men and women friends or just waiting their turn? What you think, brother? Because I need another man on here to get your
Just waiting
perspective.
there
Go
too.
ahead.
Well, it's like this, man. I mean, it's like a chemistry thing. It really depends. Men or women friends. We could be friends. Yes, no question about that. And I don't think that some people just waiting their turn. They're just generally friends. Are generally good to just generally good to connect with and talk to. The opposite sex. Just general good to talk to. Um. One or two may be waiting their turn. That could happen too. That could happen too. But I think if it's genuine and it's like I just like to talk to you. I like the way how we speak very well together. And we just went through life experiences and we shared it. We have a little bit in common, and I could talk to you. It's a chemistry. It really depends. It's like a chemistry thing. If I'm feeling you, you could be beautiful and pretty, but if I don't feel no romantic vibes, then I'm just gonna be like, we're just friends. There's no romantic vibe. But if it's a romantic vibe, then if it's a different type of approach, it's a more different type of approach. But if it's just if it's a friendship vibe, meaning like I can. We're cool. You're beautiful, but I'm not gonna compliment you because I'm not trying to go that route with you. Then it's just cool. Yeah. So I think it's they could be friends, but not that close. I could say not that close. Could be friends because friends do become lovers. Yes, that's a fact. But we could just be friends. But I don't want if I'm friends with you, I don't want to get that close to a point where okay, it could be a romantic because if I'm not trying to go there with you, I'm not gonna say certain things. I'm not gonna say like yeah, I'm not gonna keep compliment you or how you look all the time, and certain things or I'm not gonna keep calling you or connect with you all the time like I'm trying to get like a romantic chemistry with you. It's just gonna be once in a while. Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? And that's it. I keep it there.
Now you are a married man,
Yes.
so let's get this perspective.
hmm
Now I know you personally, brother. We've been friends for like 20 years.
Oh yeah. Yeah, man.
Don't say her name, but could your wife have a male friend? I know the answer to this, but for the show, could she
Yeah.
have a male friend, like you know what I mean, that she talk to and hang with outside of you?
Well, she can and she did, but he passed. She did. He did. She did have a male friend, and it just kept on that level, and that's it. They didn't hang out. They did not hang out. They did not like go out or hang out. Nothing like that. because she always felt that, listen, if I'm gonna spend time with the opposite sex, is gonna be my husband. That's what, and I say the same thing too. It was just more like a phone call, like once in a while phone call. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? And that was it. And there was no like a close friend, buddy, chummy, close friend. Nothing like that. It was more like a simple friendship. He was going through something in his life, medically going through something in his life. That's why he passed. But it was a decent friendship, put it that way. Decent friendship. I know of him. I met him. Cool, decent friendship. He says hello. I talked to him already. Nothing of that sort. So it was, yes, it was okay. It was okay. It didn't bother me at all because I know it was nothing there whatsoever. Yeah.
Now, one more, and then I'm gonna get back to everybody else. Now, I know your wife. I know
Yeah.
your wife. All right.
Mm-hmm.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
She gonna let you have a female friend?
Well, I'll be honest, Jay. I mean, fifth. Oh, fifth. Oh, fifth. Yeah. Before you fifth.
Stage
So
name
see, I
here.
know you too long, man. Yeah. I do have associates that I know for a long time, and I just keep it as associates. But to me to have like I don't want to go there I wouldn't go there get so close to them because I don't want to, you know, I wouldn't lead them the wrong way or let them think it's something there. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that because I know I wouldn't want her to do that either. Like mislead somebody or think that there's something there, but it's not. So yeah, I keep some associates. They're not like bosom buddy friends or that I call on a regular. Nothing like that. No, nothing like that. She's aware of them. She knows them, and she's cool with them. But it's nothing of that. Nothing so close and so I gotta keep calling you all the time. Nothing like that. It'd be cool. It'd be cool, Yeah.
Anybody else have anything to say to Zacchaeus? I see the comments.
Oh, I was just asking if he worked with them because he said associates, but then I figured it's probably acquaintances.
I work with them. I have them on my job.
Oh,
Yeah.
never mind. Then,
Yeah,
yeah,
but
my
we
bad.
don't. Yeah, but we don't call each other. We don't. If it's for an emergency or something of that, or like let's say something's going on that they want me to be aware of, then yeah. But other
Yeah.
than that, nothing. No friend, no like close friendship where I gotta be like calling me all the time on a regular basis every week. No, nothing like that. Nah.
Can I just say this is why I don't believe generally men and women can truly be friends? Because even if nothing's going on, I feel like multiple people who have come on this panel have said it's just out of respect. I don't want nobody to think something's happening. I don't want somebody to think something's going on. So we're already in a mind state that men and women are going to be sexually attracted to one another. We're already in that mindset that there's a danger of somebody crossing the line into infidelity or into a romantic relationship. So remove the covenant that you have. We all believe that. We all believe that a man and a woman truly can't be platonic with each other because we have this danger that we won't let our husband or our wife go by themselves with their opposite sex friend.
I have a question. Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought you were done.
That's a fact. It's all about your. I won't say chemistry, but I will say it's all about the relationship factor because we're all busy. We're all busy, and if you have dinner with the opposite sex, 90% of people think that there's something romantic going on. Even if your significant other find out that you're having dinner with, let's say, kicking it with a friend, male friend, it's not gonna jump off the right way at all, and in a way it's gonna disrespect your person that you're with, your significant other. So certain boundaries you wouldn't cross because you don't want to lead, and people catch feelings People get into emotions and catch feelings if you do spend that long time with them, or you do spend those moments with them. You're enjoying each other's company, and that's how feelings stir up. When those things, when you do say, oh, let's just go out to lunch. Oh, let's just take a nice walk in. It's a nice, beautiful day. Let's go take a walk in the park. You'd rather do that with your significant other. You wouldn't want to do that with somebody that you're just friends with, or just if you double date, go
Facts.
to a group, that's different. That's a different story altogether. That's a different story altogether. But one on one is, yeah. Even kids, and my kids are young. They'll see, it's quite clear as day. Anybody can read that, like, oh, there's a chemistry going on. So yes, going back to what you're saying, that's a true. That is a fact. Yeah, you don't want to, certain boundaries you don't want to cross. Even if you're single, and you call up your, let's say, your male friend, and you want to hang out, you just want to kick it one on one. Somebody's gonna catch a little feeling and be like, well, wow, you're taking me here. Wait a minute, you're taking me to a R&B jam. Wait a minute, are we going to a concert? And in your mind, you're thinking it's more like a, not just hanging out. It's more like a date, almost like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I
Hmm.
have a question. So if someone was bi, is that the same with like girls that are friends or like men that are friends? Because I'm curious to know if it's something that has to do with like our minds being different, men and women, or like thinking differently, or analyzing stuff differently, or is it solely based on like romantic or like how we are attracted to each other?
Well, hetero and hetero. If you're talking about like that, talking about the bi and the things like in people that have different that kind of lifestyle. If you talk about the lifestyle, then that might be a different, that is it a different story. But even them, they will feel like, well, I can spend time with my same significant other than, it's
I was
even them
meaning
will
more
catch it. It's just a human nature, it's like,
how like
how much
Jess was
time.
saying
Yeah.
she doesn't think that men and women can be friends. I was just curious to like ask her if it's solely based on being attracted to one another, and then if so, would someone who is attracted to both male and female have that same situation or scenario with all their friends, or is it more so because of how our brains are wired and stuff and
How our
wired
brains it's
differently?
I think it's how our brains are wired. I think it's how we, in our mental state, and what we think, and how we approach certain situations. It depends. I mean, because you could have a lot of gay friends, and you could have that, but
And not be attracted to that person,
and
or
not be
even the
attracted.
person who is bi not be attracted to you, but you guys are still friends and still
Yeah, you can still call each other,
platonic.
but
Yeah.
you can still call each other and speak. But when it comes to that one-on-one hanging out, that's that where it's
But
like,
that's what I'm saying. I
yeah,
think you should be able to hang out one on one. I think if you can't hang out one on one, if you don't want things to look crazy, I feel like then you have to inspect the actual fruit, or sorry, the foundation of this relationship. Like, are y'all doing things that look like couple stuff? Like, not just, going out and like, sharing a coffee or whatever like that, but are you FaceTiming them every night? Cause to
Yeah.
me, I don't even do that to my mama. You feel what I'm
Well,
saying?
well,
I
well,
hate
And so like,
FaceTime in general.
right, I'm not FaceTiming no man who's just my friend every night. I'm not saying goodnight to you every night. That's boyfriend,
no,
girlfriend stuff.
it is, that
So
is
it's
boyfriend
like,
girlfriend
are
stuff.
y'all
Yes,
truly friends? Or can you really be honest and say some of the stuff y'all do pushes the envelope and is very ambiguous?
yeah.
just stay right there. You said that you don't have any male friends, right?
Yes.
Right? I'm building. I'm building.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have any male friends. Okay? So I believe that the man that you are going to give a chance to there's a man who doesn't have female friends either. So you guys are pretty much on the same line. Right,
Mm.
Jess?
Made it weird. I have
Mm.
tried to have male
Mm.
friends. And every time I've tried to do that, at some point, they are flirting with me. So currently, right now, Jessica at 27 years old has no male friends. I have male acquaintances, right?
Uh-huh.
But I've not been successful at having male friends because they've always wanted something from me.
Well, is that
Right, right.
well, Jess? Well, hold on, Zacchaeus. My bad. I'm sorry. Me and Jess do this every now and then when she comes up here. We do one-on-ones. I got to do this with Jess. Jess,
Talk to me.
good. So, but Jess, what's wrong with a man? What's wrong with a what's wrong with a man flirting with you? You know, and trying to see what's up. I mean, ain't that what we were put on this earth to be to each other? We wasn't put on this
No.
earth to just be platonic friends to each other, right?
I don't think that's our purpose is to reproduce or nothing, you know. But that's another conversation.
Okay.
I would find it to be better if he just said that, like I'm interested in you, and so then the flirting wouldn't, you know, it wouldn't be out of the blue. But
Uh-huh.
don't portray this idea that we're just friends, and
Uh-huh.
then 6 months later, now you're asking me like, oh, can I come to the house? Or, you know, like you look, you know, your body looks real good. Cause that's going to throw me off. Now I'm like, what are you talking about? And again, I don't believe that you can be just friends with somebody if there's a flirtatious nature to the relationship. I don't think you're truly friends.
I agree. And you know, I listened very carefully when you said, you know, when it comes to these male friendships, that they haven't been quite successful because the men that have been drawn to you have saw what you look like. I mean, I know what you look like on your profile, right? I don't know what you look like in person. I'm thinking it's the same because I don't think you catfishing out here. But I can understand why a guy would see you and wanna wanna talk to you. I could see why. But I mean, not that you're saying that there's anything wrong with that part, but I get what you're saying. What you're saying is, look, just keep it real from the jump. You know what I mean? You feeling me? You feeling me on that
Hmm.
level. If we just cool, then we just cool. And you kept it real in the very beginning. You said that there are men that, you know, if a man catches your eye, you're gonna want him. You're not just want to be just friends with him because you find him attractive. You maybe see some potential, you know, and you're like, no, because we don't need to be in nobody's friend zone here. So to lighten that
Right.
chance, just not even do that to begin with. You know what I mean? Just be straightforward.
And I
I,
hope my husband is going to be my friend, you know? So like
yeah.
we can start off. That's why I don't like talking to men every day when we're just like dating. Cause I'm like, that's boyfriend girlfriend territory. And I think you're doing too much, you know? And people always jump down my throat about that. But I just think things like the Bible says, like there's seasons for stuff. So
Uh-huh.
don't portray something and it not be that truly in your heart.
So you're right about there being seasons for stuff because I'll say this where I have female acquaintances mostly, right? Co-workers with all that. But I would say that right now I do have two. I have female friends like a good right now actively in my city. Two of them that I do call friend. But when I met them, I had a girlfriend. You know, I already had a girlfriend. You know, I'm single now, but I already had a girlfriend, and that boundary was there because I already had a girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? So, um, there hasn't been any line crossing, you know, with me and those two women, those two ladies, rather, you know, but there is a limit to how we are because we're just friends, you know? So I do understand that dynamic. Go ahead, JW. You was about to say something that I need to get to Malik. Go ahead.
I had a question. How come you could still be friends with those two women with when you had a relationship, but with that other friend who's really close, like your cousin, you backed off because of respect?
Hmm. Well, thank you, J Dub, for that question.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for. I'm
It
just
actually forces me to own up. So I would say this. I would say this. I had okay. It could just be the age that I was at the time when I did this with my close friend who's like a cousin, right?
uh-huh.
Was a little younger. Like I'm 38 now. I made this decision back when I was like probably like probably like 6 years ago, maybe.
That's well, I can't tell you any number.
No, I know. That's still within the 10-year gap. I get it. I'm trying to remember the year I did this. This might have been back in like 2019, maybe. 2019, maybe. 2019. Yeah, 2019. Um, she had gotten married before that, but I think she got married in 2017. Yeah, she got married in 2017. 2019 is when I had the discussion with her about, hey, we're gonna have to you know, just for the sake, we're gonna have to chill. Um,
2 years after she got married, you
yeah,
guys talked
two,
about that?
yeah, two years after, yeah, 2 years after, we had that
I'm
conversation.
hella curious. Why 2 years? I'm so
Well,
confused.
no, I could help the confusion.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay, J Dub. I brought the story to the platform, so that means I'm responsible for speaking on it. It's fine.
And don't think I'm judging. Like I
No,
do
you're
judge
not.
a
I don't.
little, but I'm not judging in a bad way.
No, I don't think you're judging. And let me tell you how I handle things on my show. Right? Sometimes, candid conversations can help people in the world. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Oh, I
So
agree.
I don't. Right. So I don't mind this. So here's the thing. Right. So I mentioned a early riff between a past relationship and how I saw that, right, and how we were friends and how that played out and how things got ugly there, right, and I didn't want to cause no situation.
Yeah.
So because there was a situation there, I was like, well, now that you're married, I learned from how that happened, so let's just create this boundary. Your question was, why 2 years later have that conversation? Well, within the years of us not having that conversation, we naturally didn't talk a lot when she got married. But then it got to a point where she was like, well, we need to start doing a little better with keeping in touch with each other. And that's when I had to say, yes, but we have to do it in a certain way because I don't want to create any rifts between you and your husband, with you even talking to me.
See, that makes so much more sense to me. Thank you for
Yes.
clarifying that.
Yeah. No problem. So now let's go to my ex relationship and how I'm handling the dynamic with my two female friends, right? Because now we
Uh-huh.
have to go to that because that was the other part. So I didn't I kind of kept it at a level where during the relationship, me and the two girls, women rather, ladies, we had to have boundaries as far as how much we could talk and stuff like that because of the fact that I had my girlfriend at the time. So I basically did the same thing that I did for my friend cousin on my end with the two ladies, because I'm not gonna if I'm gonna have a rule for one, I'm not gonna now be the exception to the rule because it's me. You understand?
Yeah, I feel it. And would you say you guys, or the two women that you're friends with now, and then your cousin, friend cousin, Do you
Hmm.
think you guys all communicate like the same amount, or do you think it's less with the friend cousin?
So now that I'm single, I communicate way more with my two single lady friends because they're both single and I'm single. So we communicate a lot more. But when I was in a relationship, our communication was minimal.
See, that's where I agree with Jess about what everything she's saying, because why does single make a difference?
Well, you're gonna spend more time. Well, J Dub, I have a question. Are you in a relationship right now?
No.
Okay. Have you been in a relationship within the last 5 years?
Yeah, I've been single for 4 years.
You've been single for 4 years. Have you been single for 10 years?
No.
Okay. That last relationship you had, how long were you in that relationship?
For 14 years.
14 years. So you were in was that a marriage, J Dub?
Yeah, it's my only relationship.
Okay, good. Let's stay there. You were in a 14-year marriage. Did you have male friends that you talked to a lot?
Um, at first I did, and we all remember I said we all would hang out together,
Uh-huh.
me and that, and then he asked me to stop, so respectfully I did,
Hmm.
and then after that, no. I mean, there
Okay.
was like acquaintances at work and stuff, but I don't consider
Yeah,
that
that's different.
friends.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't consider because I have a lot of female acquaintances, but they're not friends. You know what I mean? And there's female acquaintances that I don't want to be just friends with because of the attraction level. Keeping it honest,
Okay.
right? And that's why they're just acquaintances. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because the line could get crossed between me and them, and it wouldn't be a problem because we're just acquaintances. But okay. So then you could kind of somewhat relate, right? Because although he told you to stop, you respected it, right? But then
Yeah.
my thing is because, like I said, if you're gonna have a rule for one, it's got to be a rule for all. Did he have female friends? I would bet. I would like to bet that if he told you to chill, that he couldn't have a whole bunch of female friends either. That he was so close with, right? Is that fair to say, J Dub?
He didn't really have any friends.
Okay,
But
he
yeah.
didn't really.
I mean,
Okay,
he would talk to like girls on like the gaming systems and stuff, but I don't really care about that because that's more like an equate. Maybe I should have cared, but I didn't. Like a friend on there that was a girl, but they don't know each other.
okay.
And I was always there too. Like, I don't know. Maybe that makes me look stupid. But keep on going.
No, no, no. I'm gonna let Malik get in.
Okay.
Um, I feel like I may be a little long winded, and so I need to get back to how the format works with me not talking as much. But Malik, what's going on, brother?
How's it going?
Good, good. Now, brother, you see the prompt on men and women friends or just waiting their turn, and then after you, we're gonna get back to open panel. All right, go ahead.
All right. Waiting their turn for sure. I have a strong stance on this. I have for quite a while, and I don't think there's anyone on the panel that can convince me otherwise. Men and women cannot be friends, at least not in the platonic sense. Um, there are instances, like you said, like acquaintances. That's different, but you know, it's easy to have friends when you're in like middle school, high school, college. That's a little different because, you're around people your age. But when you're an adult, making your own money, have your own car, and, you're choosing your friends and your life that you hang out with on a day-to-day basis or, one-on-one, no, that's not possible. Unless like one of the parties thought the other one was ugly, then it would work. But even then, the ugly friend might have attraction to the good looking friend, and at that point it's not platonic. So I don't think it's possible. Um, you know, Men, at least not my experience. I never had anyone in my life have like a genuine friendship with a woman, like one on one. It's never happened. It's only been in the guise of okay, my homegirl's wife is my quote unquote friend, but she's my friend through him. You know, I wouldn't be her friend if it wasn't for my homeboy. So I don't think one-on-one friendships like that exist, or should exist, because it's like it's not. It always gets ruined by someone else saying that they have feelings for the other. So I'll just say that, and then not to mention, like, you know, I don't think men really get a lot of utility out of being friends with a woman, you know, unless it's like their partner that they're going to be laying with for the rest of their lives. Other than that, I don't think, you know, they get utility out of it, but women get utility out of having a male friend. So I'll just say that.
What do you mean by utility? Like, how do women get utility out of a male friend?
I know exactly what he's saying. Go ahead,
Exactly.
Malik. I
I'll
trust you.
explain it. I'll explain it. So men, right? So if a man is speaking to a woman, the primary reason for that is to get sexual access, right? Outside of that, if a woman wasn't given that access, men wouldn't talk to a female, right? But women would talk to men, not give them anything, but still, you know, extract like some type of utility from that man, whether it be attention, you know, like women will friend zone men and compartmentalize them in certain categories. That's the friend zone. Where the alternative for men is that men have it to where, like, you know, oh, I have women that I would take serious. I have women that I would just sleep with. So, in terms of friendship, men get zero utility because women cannot solve. Women are not going to be able to apply any. How do I say this? They wouldn't be helpful.
So you don't think a
In for a
woman
man.
in your life has helped you at all?
My family, yeah, but not like
What makes a
outside of that.
difference?
Outside of that, no, not at all. Not even close. All the help that I've gotten in my life have been from either the women in my family or the men in my life. That's literally it.
So blood is the only thing that makes that different?
You said what?
Blood and DNA is the only thing that makes it like them able to help you, women?
Well, absolutely, because like you're looking at them in a different lens. I'm not looking at my sister thinking, oh yeah, I want to sleep with her. No, if she's giving me advice, I'm going to be receptive to that or
So
whatever.
people,
So,
weirdos do that. Like I
okay,
had written in the comments, can people be friends with their cousins then? Because there's weirdos out there who marry their cousins. Like,
J Dub, come on,
but that
man.
is
That's not
I'm
what we're
sorry, I
talking
had
about.
it's
no,
legal in like all 50 states. So that's
But
why I had asked.
Marry your
that is
cousin?
not the.
but Jay,
Yeah, your
you
second
know that
cousin.
you know that's
Weird.
not what he's
Hold
talking
on.
about.
That
Go
is
ahead,
I
Malik.
know, I'm just curious.
That is not how the general public works. Okay. No, I never had any woman outside of my family add any utility to my life at all.
And your
No.
wife, though, right?
Well, yeah, of course. Like, yes, of course. Like, yeah, she's different. Like I said, I voiced that. You know, if it isn't your life partner that you're trying to build a life with, then other than that, no woman's gonna add utility to my life at all.
Okay, I just I didn't hear that right.
I just don't know why men then, like, why do you think so highly of men that they add to a woman's life?
Yo, there's so much layers.
I'm
I can't.
sorry.
No, Jay. It's so Jay.
I ask a lot of questions because I love learning.
No, I don't have a problem with the questions. I'm gonna get to every last one of your questions. Let me let KJ come in. I'm gonna be quiet for a minute, and then I'm gonna get to what you're saying, J Dub, because I could
Yes,
actually
please.
expound more on
I
what
was going
Malik
to
is
as well,
saying.
but you can go ahead. Good.
What's going on, KJ? How you doing, brother?
I'm chilling, bro.
Good, good. Welcome back on the panel, man. You see the prompt, or men and women friends, or just waiting their turn, and then you can get into the conversation with everybody else. Go ahead.
Most of the time, they just waiting their turn. It's not impossible for a man and a woman to just be friends. I got a few homegirls myself. One who's married, one who already has a kid, my goddaughter, and she's problematic, to say the least. But I love her nonetheless. Um, knowing that men and women have a higher probability of being sexually attracted to one another, I think it's safe to say that the vast majority of the time, it's probably just going to be a waiting for their turn type of situation. And we know that a lot of fuckboys nowadays will wait their turn.
KJ, language, you know how it is over
Oh,
here.
my bad, my bad, my bad,
Yeah,
my
it's all
bad.
good. Go ahead.
A lot of F boys will wait their turn till the woman finally gives it up for whatever reason. But you know, long story short, stay diligent, stay discerned. You won't have to worry about it.
And you know what? I challenge every woman. I mean, obviously not to do this, but I've seen this on a show where the woman was like, "Oh, I just have a female friend. I mean, I'm sorry. Oh, I have male friends." And Zacchaeus, I'm gonna have you comment on this, okay? Zacchaeus, you ready? Because I'm gonna I'm gonna need you to speak to this. All right, just hear this
Yeah,
out,
yeah.
Zacchaeus, and I'm gonna get your response.
Okay.
So this woman was like, the guy was like, call one of your friends right now, your male friends, and ask him out on a date, and I bet you he'll say yes. So she called the guy. She was like, hey, let's go out. And he was like, oh, you mean like how we usually do? She said, no, just me and you one on one, and we go out, on like a date. He said, wait, a date? And he was like, yeah. He was like, you mean like a romantic date? I just want to be sure. She was like, yeah. He said, all right. That phone call might have been like not even 2 minutes. So that sits in the bank right there for a lot of ladies. For a lot of ladies, unless you just butt ugly, but even butt ugly women get men. All right. Even it don't matter you ugly, super big. I mean, you've seen a 600-pound life. Those women be married. You know what I mean? So Zacchaeus, speak to that, brother.
Yeah. So you can be actually I don't know, on a personal date, a romantic date. That's out the blue. When you do that, now that person is now looking at you differently now, as more like a potential mate, or more like a potential person that you're dating now, compared to just a platonic friend. Um, and it's and listen, I believe this. Like when I told my wife now to right now. I told her even back then before we got married. I just told her straight up how I felt and just went straight forward. I didn't beat around the bush or just wait for like years down the line. See, that's when you wait so long. Now she already put you in the friend zone already. So it's kind of odd or weird or either or vice versa. Kind of odd or weird that a person would ask a person way down months, no, not even months, but years down the line that you see them. You don't see. I can't see somebody that I've been friends with for so long in a romantic way. I just can't do it. If I knew you from since you was a kid, and now you're older now, I cannot. I just can't see it. I just can't cross that with you to do that. No.
Now,
Those girls knew exactly who they could call who would probably say yes to that. That's my thing. Like you're manipulating that man because I just don't think it's true that he never ever was even a little flirty with her. Or never ever was like, I could treat you better than your ex. Nothing. You never knew he liked you even a little bit. Girl, shut up.
He knew.
well,
He had to sense it.
because I was speaking, because what I was saying was, there are a lot of women have. All right, let's go to the utility part, right? And then Zacchaeus, KJ, and Malik could speak to this.
Yeah.
Let's go further into utility. So, J Dub, you've been married for 14 years, right? I'll get to Jess in a second.
Not anymore, thank God, but I was, yeah.
I got you. So, men, when utility meaning, picture your husband, right? And all the good things you got from him, right? Good things,
I don't know if
right?
this is I don't know if we should use my marriage as a great example.
Okay. Well, let me just use a marriage as an
Okay.
example.
Okay. Okay.
Let's just talk about all the good things that happens in a marriage, right? That a woman benefits from a woman outside of cheeks clapping, right? So in a marriage, there's problem solving, there's guidance, there's advice, there's all the chivalry stuff, there's all that stuff, right? A woman could get that in a platonic male friend. Now, what the heck does the man get from that woman, right? That
It's
would be the question, because I've seen situations where men, shout outs to Malik in the comments, because we going there. I've seen situations where men, we will give the game to our female friends, right? And kind of like put them on game about what to look for with men, and maybe warn them of certain things, right? We'll do stuff like that, right? And what will happen is the female friend will not warn us about problematic women.
and you have really bad female friends,
I'm not talking about me, J Dub.
or the person in the scenario.
Absolutely. But guess what, J Dub? There's a lot of men who have that female friend experience where the woman is on girl code all the time. All the time.
But girls,
Right?
Give us an example because
yeah,
you got women
I'm.
here.
That's abuse.
I'm giving the example right now.
But you're saying that like the girl didn't warn him about something, and you're deducing that the lady was toxic. So tell us the example so we can tell you if she was actually toxic or not.
Well, just
Because
I
in
am
that
giving.
in that scenario, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, J Dub.
I was gonna say, and like what we were talking about before, how Malik was saying that men can't be friends with women because they're always, they're going to be waiting or whatever. That unless she's ugly. So I'm saying, like, wouldn't you think that he was giving bad advice because he already wants in with her? Like he's going to say that guy is toxic because he wants to be with her. So that makes no sense.
Well, I don't think that. Okay, well, let me address that, but let me get to what Jess is challenging me on, because I said give the game, right? So I am giving an example, and I said that a woman will stay on girl code to keep the game from the man. And what I'm saying is, when women have when there are women out here that have the women could do no wrong thing. And so what happens is you're supposed to be giving your guy friend mutual advice, meaning he's giving you advice that, hey, hey, watch out for fellas out here that do A, B, and C. And then as the woman, you don't give this man no secrets. You don't warn him what women are capable of when in terms of them being cunning and deceitful. But as a man, as a male friend, he can give you that advice about how men are, because he's a man, and that's the perspective, and that's the advice and the guidance that he could bring. And you don't give that back to him as a woman. I'm saying that's what happens in a lot of male-female relationships.
Maybe he's just tripping. so the female friend don't think the situation is that bad, but he is being super emotional about it, and he thinks like Chicken Little, like the world is crashing around him. Which is why I'm like,
you see what you just did?
What'd I do?
Only difference is that for Chicken
instead of
Little,
you
the world
holding,
was actually crashing around him.
At first, it wasn't though. It wasn't though, KJ.
Instead of you holding women accountable, you just said, well, maybe he's just tripping.
I can't hold nobody accountable with a scenario that's so ambiguous, Fifth. That's why I asked for a specific example of when the female friend could have protected her male friend from something. And again, we're not hearing anything specific. So I'm just trying to, with this not specific example, I'm then just giving a different perspective of maybe he was tripping, and that's why the female friend didn't say anything.
Jess, did you not hear me when I said? Jess, you about to make okay? Jess,
I heard you.
You heard me when I said not giving him the game about how women could be cunning and deceitful.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know that there are women who will stay on code? And I'm telling you, they'll make every woman seem like an angel, a Mother Teresa, or whatever you want to call it. Instead of just telling that man, hey, look, as your female friend, I'm telling you, these women got game, and you better be careful for these signs. And what I'm saying is,
no, Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
We're talking about deceitful, but yet the guy is only there because he wants to get in her pants. That's why he's her friend. That is
Whoa,
heavy
J
deceit.
Dub, J Dub. I didn't say that in this scenario. See,
But
hey,
that's a
hey,
scenario
Wow.
hey,
of
hey,
friends and of male and female friends together. That's what we're all talking about, right?
hey, fellas, pay attention.
Am I
We're trying.
wrong?
We're trying to.
I'm giving examples.
That's not an example,
Yeah,
Fib.
yeah.
No. I gave examples, and what I'm hearing is the man's tripping. Y'all got it.
No, we're again. Your
It's one of those
perspective
damned if
is
you do,
your
damned if you don't type of
perspective.
situations.
No, it's not, because your
Or
perspective is valid. The problem is that you're saying y'all know women do again, and then you make a general statement. I'm asking for a specific example where a woman could have protected her specific friend and did not. And every time somebody responds to me, they go back to the general ambiguous statement of y'all know some women
That's
keep
how
the
the go
girl
to work.
code more than they
Okay,
keep their
let's try. Let's
loyalty
try this,
friendship.
Jess. Let's try this, Jess. Let's try this, Jess. So this doesn't have to necessarily.
Oh, he
Look at
coming back.
God. Look at
Oh,
God. Okay.
no, KJ, please come back. You was about to cook.
Look, no, because that background is
That's how the
crazy.
world operates, though, in generalities.
Oh, my
No,
AirPod,
it's
my AirPod tab slid up. That's why.
Go
Okay,
ahead, KJ. Go ahead
come
and
on,
cook.
dog.
Go ahead.
All right. So like I said, we know that you. I know personally that you are a woman of God. You're all about honesty. So this may not necessarily apply to you. But let's be honest. All right. If a woman has a guy friend and he has a girlfriend, right, and he comes across one of his girl friends, right? So he likes her. He wants to know what there is to know about her. Now, be honest. Do you think that a woman is going to be 100% honest about her homegirl when putting her on to her guy friend? Like, okay,
I hooked up my
initially,
she's
friend
cool
with
in these
my
aspects.
guy
She's
friend.
lacking in those aspects. Do you genuinely believe that that's what's going to happen,
I
or
no,
did
I
do
don't
that
you
with
think
my
think
guy
that,
friend.
initially.
or do you think that is more probable that
Mhm.
the girl that Shadi is going to advertise her like she's the next best thing, right? Like the recent edition iPhone. She's like this. She's like
Yeah,
that. She's just perfect in every single way. Which do you think is more probable?
I think it's more probable that the girl will not blow her friend's spot up and will just present the best qualities about her. And again, even the scenario you brought up, KJ,
Josh,
is
I
not
wish you could
even
see
what.
my face right now. You've been doing this for the past 3 days.
KJ,
Come
I
on,
What do you
man.
mean?
know, KJ.
What do you mean?
I wish
Hey,
you could see my face right now.
I don't know why.
You genuinely believe that
Wow.
Yeah,
she's gonna be 100% honest with him.
I never said
She's good.
that. Why you're not
Is she
listening? I just
so
said
is she good all the time, or is she lacking in certain
I
aspects? What do you
just
think?
please listen to what I am saying. I
Okay, okay.
just said that the friend would only share the good things about her friend and would not blow up her spot with the bad stuff.
Will not blow up her spot with the bad stuff. Okay, expand on that,
mm,
please.
I'm saying exactly what y'all are saying, that the friend would represent the other friend in a good light because she's trying to entice the man to want her friend.
Right. But
And
if
also
this is
and also
but
she
if
doesn't
this
know
is a
this
said friend,
and also
if
she doesn't know this stranger. So she would be a bad friend if she's telling this
oh
random man,
no. That
"Oh yes,
wasn't the
she got
hypothetical.
depression
That
on
wasn't the
Wednesdays."
hypothetical, Jess.
Yes.
That was
Jess,
not the
that wasn't the
hypothetical. That was not the
hypothetical.
hypothetical.
Yes it is though.
She's friends with the
No,
guy
she's friends
too.
with the guy.
She's friends with the guy too.
Oh, so okay, okay. So she's a mutual friend?
She's a mutual friend between the both of them. The way that they get to know each other is through her, pretty much.
Oh yeah, then I did. If again, your level of friendship can be different for people. So if they're the exact same friends to her, yes, she will tell her male best friend, just leave that alone. Now, if she's closer to the female friend than she is to her male friend, of course she's not going to blow up the female friend's spot, of course, because her loyalties are deeper to her female friend. But that's so situational because I've been in a friend group of 3 people, and y'all know, even as men, y'all know somebody, like 2 of them are really good friends. Somebody is the auxiliary friend. Somebody is the friend of the friend. So y'all all don't even have the same relationship in that group.
Maybe, perhaps. But the point is that you have is that if we're looking at a case by case scenario, right? By experience, not only through myself, but probably most of the guys in here, is that even though it part of us is to blame for it, and according in the vetting process, a lot of times we're kind of dealt false advertisement as far as the type of woman that we're dealing with when we're meeting them through our homegirls, which is why I learned, listen, if they your friend, they probably not gonna work out for me.
But also,
So
KJ, you know that they haven't experienced all versions of that girl. So even if she does see this one side of her, your romantic relationship will by default be different. So you can take her POV, but just with a grain of salt. She didn't necessarily lie because maybe that's her experience of her, but your experience of kissing on her, going to her house, meeting her family, maybe you may see so many different sides. So did your friend actually keep girl code, or did your friend just not have all the information about this person?
I was keeping more girl code than it was just straight up. Oh,
Not the dogs. No, even the dogs agree with me.
this dog is a fucking strip. Excuse my friend. Sorry. She played too much. But yeah, nah. Even there's more of a probability for her to pertain to girl code though, because we see this all the time. Sisterhood loyalty. We see it generally just with her.
Loyalty.
No, you're laughing, but
That's a
I'm
real
dead
thing.
serious.
That's a real
I'm dead
thing.
serious.
Yeah,
Like
that is
there
a
was
I
that is
there
a
was
know
one.
y'all
I'm
think
so
that. I know
I
y'all
know
think
We
it's
that.
not
all
it's not a,
think
it's
it.
not a
no
thought. It's
Men
not a
no
don't have
thought. See
bro
Jess.
now,
code.
I
Jess.
know that.
Hey, let
I
me tell
know
you
you.
something. Jess is smart as heck. I know y'all think that. No, that is something that happens.
And men have bro code.
I know y'all believe that. Yeah, I know y'all believe that happens.
Well, J Dub, we gonna talk about the bro code and Jess. I'm gonna use a word right now since you keep saying ambiguous. I got another big word, disingenuous.
Oh, stop.
Mm.
Stop.
wait,
That's the word of the day.
Fifth, watch
Mm.
this. Fifth, watch this. There was literally a live last night. I kid you not. That was prompted. Why do women? Why do women show this loyalty to women that disagree with them, or something along those parameters? I sat in there for about 20 minutes and listened to women go to town on women's, half of which weren't even fucking pick me. So excuse my French. I'm sorry. But half of which they
KJ.
weren't, half of which they weren't even pick me's. Half of which they was just being objective in certain scenarios. Saying that I don't agree with the feminist narrative, things like that, right? I'm not really much of a sisterhood type of girl, right? And they still got grilled for it. So a lot of the times, and don't get
Because they're misogynist, probably.
That part.
A lot of women have internalized misogyny. So sometimes this whole I'm not with the sisterhood movement is because they want to be picked by men. I would
Yep.
consider them the queen pick-me's. Oh, I'm
The
not a
queen
feminist.
bees.
Oh, yeah, I know how to let men lead. That's why I got married. I know how to submit. Like you're the number one pick me. Coming from
Wait,
a
so
woman, coming from a woman who prioritized
you're
marriages.
telling me because
oh,
a woman this
KJ, wait a second. Wait a
hold
second,
on.
KJ.
You
Wait a second, KJ. I'm gonna tell you why I want you to wait a second. Jess, what did you just say? What'd you say about the pick me thing?
I said the women who try to be, oh, I'm anti-feminist. Oh, I know how to let men lead. That's why I got married. And y'all are masculine. The women who are competitive with other women, they're the queen pick-me's.
And what did you say coming from a woman who what?
Who prioritizes marriage.
KJ, go ahead.
how in the fresh blue hell does that work?
Because I can see it. I've been a pick-me most of my life.
You've been a pick me and now you're
I've
reformed and now you're part of the sisterhood, right?
exactly.
Okay. Ugh.
Exactly.
So
Because the
so
pick-me's, they want men to be married to them because they want to validate themselves. They don't actually care about contributing to a relationship. And that's
okay.
why you can look at that lawyer, David Sexton, and he's saying that the men who marry these beautiful women end up hating them. They're in divorce court more because those women are not good people.
Wow.
Hold on one second.
Wow.
Jess, hey Jess,
Yes, sir.
you better, and I've inboxed you. You
Bring your own
better
statement.
at some point of my Monday show, you better be on there. You hear me?
It's just
You
not. I
gotta
be in the
stay clean.
office.
You gotta
I
stay
be
clean.
Sorry,
okay.
I had to put the dog up. Okay, so let's
I'll
let's
figure out a way
break
to
this
do
down.
that.
Let's break this down. Okay, these women who are anti-feminists or just don't identify as feminists are still pick-me's because they have internalized misogyny and so on and so forth. Okay, let me ask you the first question. Do you think that all women are a monolith?
Of course not.
Okay. Second question. Do you think that women grow up with the same values?
No.
Do you think that personal experiences for a woman can change how she feels about men in general over time?
Yes.
Okay. So all those questions, understandable. All the answers to the question, understandable. If that's the case, then how would you know that based on these three parameters that she is automatically a pick me if the definition of a pick me is a woman who intentionally tears down women for her own uplifting, for her own benefit, usually to get the attention or noticing of men, right? How do you know based on that definition that that's what's actually happening?
Because of the language that she uses. The examples I gave was a woman saying, I'm not like these other masculine women. I'm better. I can let men submit. That's why I get picked and you don't. So the language is competitive against other women, which goes back to your actual definition of pick me. I'm trying to present myself as the best option for male approval.
Hmm.
Mm.
Let's look at this. Let's look at this for what it is, right?
Because how? Well,
If
whatever.
a woman who understands what the general expectation is from the generality of men, right? What they want, what their boundaries are, what their parameters are when it comes to a relationship, when it comes to a marriage, so on and so forth. If she understands the fundamentals on how to obtain a satisfactory marriage or a satisfactory relationship, and she's doing those things, and she's seeing that a generality of other women around her are not meeting those requirements, yet still wondering why they're single, right? Is it really far-fetched for her to say that, yeah, I'm doing significantly better than these other women because they are presenting themselves more masculinely as compared to myself, who is more who is more prone to be feminine?
So it's performative and that's why it's
It's
manipulative.
performative.
Yeah.
It can't in any scenario would it just be a truth?
No, it's performative. She's doing it for the benefit of the male gaze.
So
She's doing it.
there aren't women who are just stating a simple fact that they are more feminine than other women.
No, they're doing it because they want to be picked by men. They're doing it because they want to position themselves as the most feminine woman, and that's why she gets the man. That's why she gets to live the trad life. That's why she gets to stay home and actually live in her femininity, because she knows how to let men lead. She's saying that in opposition to other women. So that's not you doing it because, oh, this is a value of mine, how I want to live my life. You're doing it because you're in competition
But
with the women who are not.
you don't get to make that translation just because that's how you see it if you don't
But
even explore the nuances of it, right?
but I
Because
am.
there
So how
because
can she make the translation?
barely because you would have to fully understand the situation at hand. If you have a woman that is blatantly making some of these arguments yet is still failing in most of her relationships, then yeah, I can see your argumentation there, right? Because that means she's just saying everything that she needs to say just for a performative sake. I would have understood what you were talking about if it was a woman, like a perfect example. Sometimes it pops up on my feed where you have a woman who has an OF link in her account, yet saying a bunch of things in her captions that pander to men. That's what I consider to be a pick me, right? Because she's trying to gain the male attention in order to profit from it, right? Whereas if you have a woman who has literally been married for a long period of time and they're telling other women, you need to be less masculine and be
Mm-hmm.
more feminine, right? If you want your relationship to work, if you want to be able to be attracted to if you want to be able to be considered attractive to most
Mhm.
men, especially men who are in their mid 30s and early 40s when they're about to reach their pinnacle of wealth, right? Then that's something that you need to prioritize when it comes to your behavior. That's not pick me behavior. She's
Yes, it
speaking on what
is.
worked
Yeah,
for
it's
her,
And
which is
it's
why
there's
her
pick
marriage
standards.
is successful.
oh,
So
again,
she
hold on, KJ. You cannot
she
say
should
they're successful though.
she can't speak. Yes, I can, because
No,
I
you
know if
can't.
I know. Yes, I can. You can't say that they're not.
But
It's a
that's what I'm
case by case
saying.
basis.
That's what I'm saying, KJ. People look at the longevity of a relationship and say, "Oh, well, that must mean that they're in a successful marriage." When we all know people who were married for 30, 40, 50 years and they hated each other. So you getting married is not the goal. You being successfully married is the goal. And so when the pick me women say, "Here, look, I got picked, I got married, I'm able to live
And
this
if
life
they're
because
successfully
I'm
married, then
feminine,"
what?
they're not successful. That's what they're trying to get people to think. And people drink the Kool-Aid thinking that the marriage or getting picked is the goal, but really it's sanctifying yourself in the covenant of God. And and nobody on this panel will be able to accurately express that they're doing that. So you're just listening to people's renditions of their life, but nobody's telling you the times that they fought. Nobody's telling you the covenants that they make to still be in that relationship. So again, when people tell me about their marriage, I neither say it's good nor bad. I just take what they say with a little bit of salt, because I'll never be in their marriage to know that for real.
So watch this. Even women who are fully conformed to their faith, right, and understand the parameters of what it means to build a covenant with somebody, and that covenant has to be approved by God, right? Even they would be saying the exact same things that I've listed out previously. If you want your marriage to work with your man, not only do you need to keep God at the center, but you need to be able to display a level of respect for your man, because a man does not need love, he needs respect. And if he's not getting it at home, he's going to be desensitized to it, and he's going to want to leave at some point. And it ain't going to take that long either, right? Because the vast majority of women nowadays operate within a certain parameter that disincentivizes men from even wanting to be in the dating market in the first freaking place. So realistically speaking, if you have a woman who understands what the expectation is for a man, and even vice versa, if you have a man that understands what the expectations are for a woman, the reciprocal submission, right? If she's going out and she's telling other women, this is what you need to do if you want this marriage to be successful, if you want this relationship to work, if you want your children to have a decent example of what a relationship, what a marriage should look like, so that they won't know what to expect when they get older, right? Them explaining that to other women who just so happen to be masculine and just so happen to be a part of the quote unquote sisterhood and abide by sister code is not pick me behavior.
KJ, didn't you just tell me that all women aren't a monolith? So how can this woman now try to say, well, all men, majority of men is going to want this? We just expressed that people are not monoliths. So
Because because it's a
hold on,
general
hold
statement.
on, hold on. What works in your marriage is not always going to translate to another person's marriage.
But
So
based
you
on
trying to
probability,
tell,
how likely is it going to work?
but
Based on
again,
probability.
there is no,
If you do nothing but follow
okay,
these simple
KJ,
rules, you submit, you
KJ, calm
receive, you
down.
no, it's passion. It's not
It's
anger, it's
okay,
passion.
but I
If
can't
you
get
have
my sentence out because
Hey,
you're
if
so
you
passionate.
KJ,
fair,
let Jess land. I'm gonna tell you why.
fair
Let
enough.
Jess land because I know how Jess likes to speak, and let Jess land because you're gonna get the full thing of what she's trying to say, and then you'll be able to respond to it. Because Jess is not long winded. Go ahead, Jess.
All I'm trying to say is that we cannot look at anybody else's marriage and quote unquote call that successful, because we will never know the ins and outs. So when women specifically, especially Christian women give some of the worst advice. And again, this is as a Christian woman who prioritizes marriage. A lot of Christian women are internalized misogynists, or they have internalized misogyny. So they're the biggest pick-me's. They come on these panels and they talk about men as a monolith, and they say, hey, women, if you fit into this box that God never said, right? You fit into this little box that society deems as feminine, you can now get picked by a man. But no one is ever going to those women expressing them how to be in a healthy relationship. It's all about how to get male approval. That's the pick me nature of people's language. And again, I listen to people and I can hear the competitive comparing people, which is why it's pick me and not what I do, which is prioritize marriage and teach women how to be successful in relationships.
Okay. So let's break this down. And we could break this down based on, you know, based on feminine quality. Gentlemen, host included, I have a question for you. Um, would you rather, okay, if you had to choose between Aunt Viv from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air or Miss Pat, who would you go for?
On Viv.
Wait, light skin on Viv or
It don't matter. Aunt Viv the
chocolate on Viv?
character. It don't matter the
Okay.
color. We not don't give her the ammunition for colorism, please.
No.
Don't
The
do
reason
that.
why I'm saying it is because light skin on Viv was
Oh yeah, they
changed.
did change her like 3
Her
times.
character was changed a little bit.
They changed her like 3 times. That is true.
Yeah. But Aunt Viv the general character.
On Viv for sure, definitely.
What about you, Fifth?
On Viv every day.
What about you?
Zacchaeus.
Zacchaeus?
I like on Viv.
Okay. Why? Fifth, please.
Aunt Viv was class personified.
Mm-hmm. And
Next,
what did she do for Uncle Phil?
she was a wife with a capital W. She was respectful. She was honorable. She was a good mother. She was supportive. She was caring. She was caring. She was caring. She was sharing. She was genuine. She was calm. She had order. She had structure. Led,
So
and she
if
was led by the brother. And on top of that, and she knew Uncle Phil's blind spots, right? And was able to report to that so that he could better see what's going on in his surroundings.
by the way, we talking about old Fresh Prince, not this malarkey that we see on Peacock every day.
I
No, we're not
understand.
talking about
Yeah,
that.
we talking about old Fresh Prince. Yeah.
We talk. So this is how you know a relationship will work. If you're observant enough of your spouse to understand the ins and outs, to be observe their blind spots where they're not looking, like Fifth pointed out, right? There are certain parameters that need to be met when it comes to a relationship in order for it to work, which is why we have a courting and a vetting process in the first place. If you are not looking diligently for those things to determine whether or not this woman is going to meet said qualities, then 9 times out of 10, that woman is not going to work out for you. But if you have a woman that is outspoken about why her relationship is working, and you have women that are all the time going on these dating shows looking for advice. How do I work this out with my boyfriend? How do I convince him to want to marry me? What do I have to do for that? How do I even fit into the dating market right now? Right? What am I missing right now? Right? And you have women who have experienced these things and are speaking solely from their experiences and providing a layer of wisdom so that other women can bounce off of those ideas and maybe use it for themselves, right? You're automatically presiding it to internalized misogyny, anti-feminist, pick-me behavior, which doesn't make sense because, again, these are women that are looking for these things to work. But how are they going to work if you're not willing to humble yourself and listen to the needs of what a man would need, right? All our lives, men have had to figure out what a woman needs. All our lives, men had to make sacrifices in order to accommodate for our women, right? And it don't matter what problem we may have with it in that moment. It don't as a man, you got to make those sacrifices. That's just it. That's just the rule, right? You got to
Which
do what you got to do.
sacrifices?
Hold on. But when we're talking about women, they would rather that they don't have to barely make any sacrifices because of the narrative that feminism has pushed out over the past 70 odd years. Once it became intersectional, that you had women that were saying, I can be a wife, right? But I also want to do my own thing. I don't want to have to make as many sacrifices for my husband as I would the vice versa. And if that wasn't the case, you wouldn't see such an excruciating divorce rate amongst women. Women are you want to know who's the
Because
highly
men
divorced right
hardly
now?
make
Black
doctor's
women.
appointments.
You think they're going to go file for divorce? Most of the time, and I'm not even saying all men at all, so don't think that, but most of the time, men would rather cheat and step out of the marriage than go file for divorce. And that's why there's more women doing it. Most of the time in those marriages, the men aren't even making their
That
doctor's
can't be
appointments. The
true.
women are. You think
That
they're going to
can't.
go down and file papers?
That can't be true. That
Why
can't be
can't
true
that be true?
because first of all, we're looking at the infidelity rates, especially when we're looking at amongst a particular demographic. Black women cheat more, and if we're also going to be 100% honest,
Where?
right?
Whoa,
If
careful,
we're
careful, 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 careful.
Where?
no,
Yeah,
no, I'm
Bring it
Yeah,
telling
up.
where
no,
are
no,
the
no, no, no,
stats?
no, no, no,
I'm
no, no.
telling the truth. I'm
No,
telling
Where
the
are the
truth.
stats?
I get you, but let's not do a race thing. You know why I say that is because
It's fucked up. That's why.
there's a
I'm sorry.
wait, J Dub, watch that. What I'm saying is that there's a woman stat that's just women without us actually talking about the color thing, and I know that stat. So that stat is sitting at between 42 to 45%. But you can speak to that, KJ. But let's
Yeah,
not do
fair.
the black woman, Spanish women, white women. Let's not do that right now.
Fair enough. And notice how Jess is automatically referring to this as red pill talk. God, you need to be around some more
It
men.
is.
It's not. It's
That's
not. It's
KJ,
it's
I
legit.
specifically
It's simple legit. It's simple logistics and assessing the situation for what it is. Because
no KJ.
we can all acknowledge that the current dating market is abysmal right now.
No
And half of the
KJ.
reason why it's abysmal is because you have women and men unilaterally that are not willing to make certain sacrifices when it comes to the dating market and when it comes to actually building a functional relationship that's supposed to be a marriage, that's supposed to be a covenant under God. And because people are not even putting God at the center, that's why half of them are failing in the first freaking place. But you wouldn't know that because apparently it's pick me behavior to even speak on half of these
So
things.
the contract we have here in America for marriages was made for financial reasons. I understand that marriage was a thing in biblical
That has nothing
times,
to do with
and
what
the
I'm talking
Bible
about.
does talk about how it's for financial reasons, and yes, love is in there too. But the one we have here in America is a business contract. So you
That has
can't
nothing to do
bring
with
God,
what
and
I've
I do
stated.
believe in the Creator, but you can't bring God into it when a lot of people get married who aren't religious or spiritual or believe in that.
Wait, that has
This
nothing to
is
do
why we
with
have a
anything that
problem
I've
with that.
addressed. I didn't even
Can we
bring
move
up
on from this?
Yeah,
contracts. What
because
are
you
you
That's
said you
talking
have to
just
put
about?
God first in the
Now
marriage.
you want to move on from it now that I got nuance with it?
No, it's just because I'm just saddened by your POV. Every time I see you on these panels, you used to be so full of the Holy Spirit, and now all I hear is this regurgitated rail pill commentary, and it's disheartening to me. So I would love to get back to Fitz' actual prompt instead of us engaging in this because it's literally in crazy. It's crazy right now.
You two things could be true at
And
once. You could
Zacchaeus
ignore.
and
You
Malik
could.
have not spoken. And again, all with all due respect, we have been monopolizing the conversation
You know what? Fair
with
enough. But
this.
let me land with this. First and foremost, I grew up in the church the vast majority of my life. My stepdad is a pastor, so technically technically I'm a preacher's kid. I know what I saw, and I know what I was taught, and I know what I seen the second that I became an adult. The things that were advertised when it came to what a marriage ought to be is not necessarily how marriages usually operate, right? Yes, it's fundamental to keep God at the forefront, but there are certain things that happen in a modern day that you need to be attentive of. You can't just be oblivious to it. You need to be able to utilize your discernment. So say what you will about my walk with Christ. Quite frankly, that's something that you have no right to speak on. But realistically speaking, I know for a fact, based on from what I've observed, that there are certain things that just have to be spoken on. And you diverting it to just quote unquote red pill talk is actually just proving my point down to the T. Now we know for a fact that you don't have a contending argument to anything that I've said. And you know that everything that just came out of your mouth within the past 15 minutes was a bunch of bull, respectfully.
Okay, let me interject. Let me interject.
Yes.
All right, let's relax here. All right. So I want to say this, Jess. Jess, you there? Jess.
Hi, I'm here.
Okay. Jess, are you familiar with the word misandry?
I am.
Okay. So that's when that's the opposite of misogyny. So I want to make sure that you are keeping into account, or at least considering, that there are women that are misandrous that are keeping women single. There are women that are misandrous. They're disguising themselves as being middle ground and they're keeping women single. And then there are women who are not any of those things that are professing people to go towards marriage in a healthy and respectful way. And they have the results to back it up in their speech and in their reputation. So I just want that to make sure that that's acknowledged
Like me?
by I'm talking to you. So yes, by you.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I'm saying is because I let this go for a while for a reason.
I wish we didn't.
Well, the only reason why I did it is because instead of me guessing what someone is saying,
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather them say it and then I respond to it. And I heard you. I heard you, Jess. You kept talking about women being pick-me's.
Mm-hmm.
All right, K Vigilant in the comments. I heard you repeatedly mention that women who are pick-me's have internalized, would you say? Something misogyny, you said.
Oh, no, I said Christian women have a lot of internalized misogyny.
You said Christian women have a lot of internalized misogyny to put themselves, to market themselves as being more feminine, more this and all that, to be picked, right?
To be picked. Yeah. A man's
Yes.
approval is more important than God's approval. Yes.
Okay, you said a man's approval is more important than God's approval to those type of women, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Could it just be that these, you use the word Christian, but I'm going to say the word believer because I identify more with that than anything. Could it just be that there are women who are believers and some non-believers who are just anti-misandry and they want healthy relationships between men and women? Would you call those women pick-me's too?
I'm an anti-misandrist. So, no, I'm not a pick-me. I'm completely against people pushing misandrist ideologies. I'm completely against misogynistic ideologies too, because none of that is scripture.
Can I
So
ask one question just for clarification?
go ahead, J.
What's the difference between what you said, misogyn? I don't
Misandry?
know. Yeah, that and feminist.
Well,
So extreme feminism and misandry is the same thing.
So why is there two words? Did men have two words for it? For like
Yeah.
their for their?
Yes. Misogynistic and
Okay.
chauvinistic. Yes, those
Oh,
are two
okay,
words
yeah,
that are used
true.
for us. So what I'm saying is the reason why I said misandry is because that is the antonym for misogyny, and a lot of men and women are not familiar with that word because the narrative has been on one side. So when you hear that, you're like, whoa, what does misandry mean? And a lot of women are realizing that this whole time they've been misandrous. Not all women, obviously, but there are women who are just now finding out that they are misandrous. That they just, everything is anti-men. Every time you turn around, it's the crap on men every couple seconds. That would be a misandrous.
yeah, and I don't believe in that. Those women are the opposite side of the same coin of the pick-me women who are telling women this is the box you can operate in, so you get picked by men.
Close-minded.
And again, a man's approval is not the highest approval that a woman should be going after. So a woman making it seem that being single is an insult to her life or an insult to her God-given purpose is also demonic and anti-scripture. So I'm the kind of person who can prioritize marriage, but also not make it an idol of my life, because you can't even take it with you. So why would God make marriage our ultimate purpose if we can't even take it with us to heaven? And that's my problem, is that women will get on these panels and they'll be like, well, look at me. I got picked because I'm X, Y, and Z, and I'm in competition with other women. Why do you have to be in competition with them if you're actually coming from a heart posture of helping them?
Because the dating market is inherently competitive.
No,
Sorry.
it's not. No,
It
people
is.
make it competitive because you think there's winners and losers. That's the problem.
Yeah,
Okay.
guess what? So when people, you're not just going to have one person that's only interested in one person, especially not in these modern times, right? So because of that, you're going to have people that are going to compete for some particular person when it comes to who they're attracted to, and they're going to act upon that. Sometimes that's just what's going to happen. And realistically, right? If you know that you are attracted to somebody that is conventionally attractive, right? And I mean, based on public interpretation, this person is clearly attractive. And this person, you could tell by the reception that this person gets when they walk into the room, right? You're going to have a multitude of people that are going to gravitate to that person, which means that in the dating market, you're going to have to compete for that person's attention. That's how that works.
Why would you compete for anybody's attention? Because then
Because
now
that's
you're in a
how
game.
that
But
works.
that's
That's the
no, it
point.
doesn't. No, it doesn't. You're choosing that. We all choose what we contribute to and what we stay out of. I'm not in a rat race to compete with nobody because I can't compete with other women. I'm going to be different. My relationship with a man and his relationship with Stephanie is going to be completely different. Even if we look the same, even if we believe the same things, we'll be different people. So when people go into the dating world thinking, oh, well, I got to compete for male approval, I got to compete for women to like me, you're already behind the game, and you're tapping into demonic forces.
Malik, you got anything to say? I'm gonna wait for a second.
Yeah, I think I agree with Jess, but I also hear KJ's point as well. What she's saying is correct. But what KJ is saying is that like people don't walk out of here with the mindset I'm going to compete. It's what they do. They're just doing it. They're not thinking that they're competing. It's just a natural way of like how society is run. They're gonna inadvertently compete because that's how the marketplace is built. It's built to compete with each other. That's not what the intention of humans are. Like I'm not going out there think I'm going to compete to get a girl or vice versa, but like that's what's happening. That's what he's saying.
It's programming. I mean, look at
Well, yeah, I agree with you. I
yeah,
hear you on that. Yeah, it is, of course.
and
I'm
it's
just
not
saying that,
right.
like, I know that, but he's just stating the reality of how it. Like, reality right now is manufactured. It's been pushed towards this reality. So, like, what he's just saying the obvious. Like, people are competing out there. That is what it is.
Oh no, yeah, again, I want to validate the fact that people are out here competing. I'm pushing against the idea that it just is what it is, that this is just how the world is. No, it's not. We all contribute every day to something. Reality is because we all believe a thing to
Competition.
be. Exactly. Money only has value because a country of people believe it has value. A piece of paper means nothing to China, right? Like in other different places who can't use our money. Probably not China, but like maybe Sweden. Like they'll probably need you to go and get their money so then you can buy stuff in their country. Because again, money itself has no value. It's the people who believe in the money that give it value.
You're totally right.
What I'm saying is, okay, so what I'm saying is with this competition narrative is that it's only a competition because people believe they're in a competition. If you know better, you'll do better and you'll exist outside of that rat race. And I just wish for people to stop thinking they're competing for a person's approval. You're not.
You're totally right.
If you
I agree with
ever
you.
find yourself competing for a woman's approval because she got a roster of men, leave her alone. You should never be competing for no woman's approval ever. She's not God. She can't save you. She can't sanctify you. Your marriage will not be coming with you to heaven. So why are you unaliving yourself on earth for something you can't even take with you to heaven?
Most of us aren't because
That's
we.
right. That's true.
What you're
So
saying
that,
is correct. I'm
so
not. Yeah.
yeah. So that's I mean, shows
The
like
thing
Pop
is,
the
the
Balloon.
thing
I
is,
don't know.
the thing is that most of us aren't now because we've pretty much woken up and smelled the roses when it comes to how the current dating market is, and we understand that now, unfortunately, it doesn't really work in our favor. There's a perpetual bias in how our dating market operates. So it really isn't really much of an incentive to even want to attempt when it comes to that sorts of thing. That's why for me, I say all the time, I don't operate in this dating market. I am perfectly fine with being single for the rest of my life if that's what it means, right? Because I'm not about to go out of my way and break my back to try and seek the approval from a woman that could give a you know what about what I got going on or my interests or my feelings, so on and so forth. That has nothing to do with me. And I'm pretty sure that every single man up here would agree with what I'm saying right now.
Yes, it's
if
all
that's
about
what
your
it takes,
peace.
You just put
if
her
that's
point
what it
too.
takes
Yes,
for me to maintain my peace, big deep big word, keyword peace, for me to maintain my
peace.
peace.
That's right.
If I have to be single for the rest of my life in order to maintain that, you bet your sweet behind
Exactly.
I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, but she's saying
Yes.
that too.
Self happiness.
That's what
Yes.
gets her saying too.
Yes.
You're saying the same thing.
Peace. Yes.
You're saying the same
I,
thing. Exactly.
I need to put this in there. I know we kind of excuse me deviated from the topic, but it kind of still matches up in this way. Jess, I want to ask a question. Do you know where the word red pill came from?
Sorry, I'm trying to unmute. No, I think I heard it with Kevin Samuels, but I'm not sure if he started it.
Okay, so we're gonna walk you through it. There's a movie called The Matrix.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I thought you meant like the way people are using it now.
No, I know. But in order for us to get to the so-called sickness, we need to get to what caused it. And we also need to get to the root of where this word comes from so that we can make this all make sense. I didn't think I was going to have this conversation in a topic yet, but I guess we need to for the sake of the show. Red pill comes from Matrix. There's the red pill and there's the blue pill that Morpheus had for Neo, right? What he let Neo know is that the world that we're living in, when you live in bliss, there's a lot of things that you just don't notice. But then when you take the red pill, you become enlightened. So metaphorically, the red pill is just being enlightened to what's already going on around you, right? And the blue pill is just to remain ignorant. Okay? Take it off the extreme level now. So taking the red pill is actually not just for men. It's actually for everyone, to be honest with you. And the red pill is not just relationships. The red pill is just making sure that you know what's going on around you instead of just living in ignorance. Now, once we get to the talking spaces and podcasting, the red pill, it within the manosphere context has been taken out of context. So what people are calling red pill may necessarily be black pill, and that is all hope is lost. There's no gray area. It's just black and white. It
That's the
is what
black
it
pill.
is. Doom and gloom. You know what I'm saying? That would be the black pill. So some people are calling the red pill the black pill, when the red pill is just you just being enlightened to what the nature is of what's going on. So I understand the confusion. I do. But this is what we need to get to as far as the men and women friends. And I'm gonna let Angie come in because Angie's my homie, Angie's like my adopted little sister right now. You know what I'm saying? So my adopted little sister on TikTok. Shout outs to her, right?
Oh, hello.
So there you go. So the reason why I have to say that is because people are gonna listen to this show, the playback, and they're gonna be like, why are they bringing this up? But a lot of times when it gets brought up, nobody gives the breakdown for the audience. You know what I'm saying? So now the thing is this, Jess, you have a lot of passion. I rock with the passion. This is why I like when you come on here. But I just want to make sure that we are remaining fair in this situation. There are men out there that are keeping men single. There are women out there that are keeping women single. I don't have advice for them. They have chose their path, if you understand what I mean. But for those who are trying to bring us together, that's who I want to uplift. Okay? So when we have these topics on here, right? These topics are for us to actually get to the root of things and come to a middle ground. But extremism really doesn't help anyone. I'm sure you could either agree or disagree to that, Jess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Are you calling me
So
extreme? Just to clarify.
No, I'm not calling you out. We're just having a
Okay.
conversation. I'm not calling you extreme. I'm just saying that you are speaking to extreme points. And being that you're speaking to extreme points, what I'm saying is just let's make sure that we understand that who's doing what, and we're getting to the balance of things. The extreme points, I have no cure for the extreme points. If people want to be extreme, they're going to be extreme. But when we get to the balance of things, these conversations can actually have a solution. That's all I'm saying.
I got a solution. Just stay out the way.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Stay out the way of what, KJ? Elaborate.
Stay out the way of this dating market in general. It's dog water. Just because I'm acknowledging it for what it is, don't mean I participate in it.
So I feel like you could make the
Hi,
dating
Angie.
realm kind of a little bit better if you contribute good things to it. Not to say, like, if you're in a point in your life where you don't see yourself dating, that's cool. But when you are dating, are you contributing like in a toxic way? Are you dating in a healthy way, or are you dating in a way that could potentially harm the other person that you're dating? I think that's important to think about as well. I think a lot of the times I hear, and I just got in here, so I'm only getting a little excerpt of what you guys are talking about. A lot of the times I do hear men and women, but mostly men, when they talk about relationships in the dating market, they talk about how garbage it is. But what are we doing on, what kind of work are we doing on ourselves to make sure that when we approach that dating world, that we're not contributing and adding to it? Because I do think that things can change.
AG, make sure at some point you answer the prompt, okay? Hey, Malik, I got to go on mute for a second, all right? Hold
I
it
got
down
you.
for me.
Yes, sir.
Yes. For the prompt, my answer are men and women friends or just waiting their turn. I think I think two things can be true at the same time. I think it's possible for men and women to be friends. But how somebody, like, the way that normal humans operate, attraction is a thing. You notice the way people look first off. And I think if you want to keep the friendship and not, like, I guess, venture out into other things with that friendship, all it takes is like discipline. And if you're good at discipline, then why not? But if you're not, then I don't think that's something that people should like really be indulging in, or they should make their intentions clear instead of, everything else.
Okay. It's open panel if you guys want to add to the conversation.
Love still has to go, right? Or no?
Oh yeah, she's new. Yeah, Dr. Love. Hello. This is my name is Malik. I'm filling in for Fifth right now. I don't know if you're new here, but the rules are no cursing, no foul language. But you can answer the question whenever you want.
Hi, Malik. Hi, everyone. Yeah, I came in not from the beginning, but I've heard most of the conversations. There's a couple of things, but if I respond to the prompt first, as that's what we were talking about, I think, can men and women be friends? I've had this topic on my own live many a times, and you get two sides, right? A lot will say yes, some will say no. Biologically, there are factors that are to be considered. And I think what Angie just said is actually very accurate. You know, if you are self-disciplined, then possibly. I think for women, and I'm going to speak for myself, not anyone else, but I think if there's no attraction and you don't find them attractive, you can be friends with them because you know it's not going to go anywhere. You know you're not going to fall off the ladder or so forth. But if there is attraction and you're friends with someone, then I think, it's very difficult to know the intentions of people. So it could go the other way. And if you're in a relationship, like let's say I have a partner and I have male friends, I'm sure, and I know people say there should be trust and should be secure. I get that. But at the same time, I think as a level of respect, I wouldn't entertain it. Purely because why would I need to bring stress into my relationship, even if nothing's going on? Because by nature, a man wants to protect his woman. He's gonna wanna have her for himself, right or wrong. But he has that protective streak. He's going to want to not let any other man, sit and chill with her, or go to dinner with her, or hang about with her. Likewise, as a woman, I can speak for myself. when if I have a partner and he has female friends, I know even though I'm quite a secure woman, I wouldn't probably like it. And I wouldn't really want it in my relationship. And whether that's controlling or whether that's insecurities, people can call it what they want. It's okay. We are living a generation where we talk to men, we talk to women. That's okay. I'm on about friendship because I should be his best friend. He should be my best friend. So I don't need to go to another man to ask his opinion. Well, what tire should I put on? Or, what do you think about this? I should be able to go to my partner and vice versa. So for me in a relationship, if I was with someone, I wouldn't like it if he had female friends, and I would respect him and do exactly the same back. Because I think it brings in situations that if you're trying to make a commitment with someone are not necessary. From
Great,
my perspective.
great, honest response. Great, honest response.
I wanted to pose a question, if I may.
Jay, do you mind muting a little bit? I can't hear people. Thank you.
Do you mind if I ask a question, Phil?
From me, of course.
Oh, for the whole panel.
Emily, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. I got to mute back up. Go ahead.
So my question to everyone here, do you guys think that people use friendship as a disguise to, how do I say this, stay close to someone they can never have?
Yes.
I
Yeah,
would say
same. I don't think it's a friendship though then, but yeah.
I think they do. And I think with a male, again, I'm not speaking for you guys, from my experience, I think the way a man is, I don't think he would have a female friend. There are some, I'm not saying all, but unless he was attracted or thought that he would get a turn at some point, I don't think he'd be friends with her in that way.
But then is it a friendship at all? That's the case?
But the thing is, Malik, we don't know people's intentions, unless they show us, and very few will do. I know lots of people who'll say, I've got a best friend and he's a man, and they're in relationships. And then when you speak to the partner, you see how he feels about it. And unfortunately, we're in a society now where you can't turn around and say, well, listen, I don't want you hanging up with that guy. I don't want you hanging up with this girl, because it's perceived as, well, you're totally insecure or you're being overly possessive or controlling. But if we look at the biology of men and women, it's a natural urge. When we talk about jealousy, jealousy is a normal human emotion. Yes, there are two ways of dealing about it. There is irrational and rational, but we still feel it. And when you love someone, of course you're going to get jealous, but how you deal with your jealousy is far more important.
I get your point. I guess what I'm coming from is the fact that, hindsight is very 2020. And so when you're looking at, how women reject men and vice versa, we do it differently. A woman will put a man in a friend zone in public and everyone knows that they're just friends. But a man will be a friend with women for 9 months. And as soon as he gets access to, sexual access, then you're not really friends anymore,
I hear that.
Angie?
Yeah.
I just wanted you to explain what you put in the comments.
Yes. So currently, that is my situation. So, however, I've been the person where my male friends have always liked me. At some point, they've came out and told me that. And so the last 4 years, I haven't had a male friend unless they were gay. And I haven't had a male friend. But I made a friend last year. And we were pretty cool. I was also in a relationship. But I did see myself okay, this person is all first looks. Because when you first meet somebody, you look at them. So off the first look, I'm okay, this is a nice dress young man. And that was it. But as we went on and we became friends and stuff like that, the more we hung out, I did feel myself starting to like him. And that's something that I did try to fight, because I did really like my friendship. And this was a friendship that that was pure, somebody that's looking out for you and all this other stuff, making sure that you're good, my support system. And I did have feelings for him, but I never told him. But on Valentine's Day, we had like a conversation and he kind of figured it out. And he didn't hesitate. So we've been, you know, kicking it. But something that I spoke about was prioritizing my friendship. I do think that it's possible in the past when I was in a relationship and I had like male friends that were like straight or whatever, if I even felt myself starting to like them, I would put up that distance out of respect for my relationship. So because you respect the person that you're with, I think that it's possible for anybody to find attraction in anybody. You know, it's all about discipline. So like I've been the friend that was sought after, and I've been the friend that was sought after my friend. And I think it all depends on the people, because I wasn't really waiting on the side to like get a chance. And at first it was just like, you know, like I do like this person, but my friendship is the most important thing. And I could say something, it could ruin my friendship and all this other stuff. But when I did finally open my mouth, that's not what happened. And so like it's multiple different ways you could look at it. And I've been the person that didn't want my significant other to have like female friends and stuff like that. But where is that coming from? I feel like recently I had to look at myself, because I've been around men, and even my male friend, until like he hasn't made a pass at me, you know?
Angie, that's very honest of you, I must say. Really, really honest, giving both perspectives. And I think it's really important to understand. So, you know, when you said you had to look at yourself to see where it was coming from, you know, a lot of the time when we look at human behavior, you know, some of the triggers we have, some of the insecurities, it's often because we've either experienced them or they've been done to us. So, you know, the intent of possibly your partner's female friends. We know that as women, you know, if a woman wants a man, she'll go for it, whether he has a partner or not, whether, and that not every woman, because some of us have morals and, you know, we wouldn't, but there are a lot of females out there that, you know, if a man is with a very attractive woman, she will do everything she can to get him, not because she wants him, because she wants to compete with the woman he's with. And we also know that when males have female friends, the reason we don't like it, whether we admit it or we don't, is because we know what a woman is capable of. Likewise, we also know what men are capable of. Hence why I always say in a relationship, depending on what your boundaries are, I personally wouldn't want my partner to have female friends, and I myself wouldn't have male friends.
I respect that 100%. I feel like, you know, experiences, because I've had a partner that I was with exclusively, and he would be overly close with his female friends. So I personally didn't like that. But I also have seen what it's like to have a genuine male friendship as well. I feel like as long as the couple sets their standards and their boundaries, I think that it can go any which way.
That's part of the problem. Is like most of the time people will just be observing the situation to see where they can, you know, plant themselves in it. And I wouldn't consider that to ever have been, like what J-Dub said, to be a genuine friendship. Like anytime the relationship could ever go from, oh yeah, we're just friends, to we have a conversation and now we're like getting more intimate, I then think that the friendship, quote unquote, the very platonic friendship that y'all used to have is really just a lie. Like, yeah, y'all were cool, y'all were friendly, but platonic is not what that was.
Yeah, exactly. Platonic and no emotions involved at all.
Exactly. Like, I would be disgusted if my male friend, who I never had any thoughts about, came to me and was like, hey, so, you know, I done broke up with my girlfriend, so like, what's up with it? I'd be like, ew. We would never ever get to a point where now we're talking about it. Now we're, you know, maybe looking at it. What? No, that would never happen.
Exactly.
But when he said that platonic means no emotions are involved, that's not true. They're just not romantic feelings. Because to be platonic, it's a deep emotional connection with someone, but it's just not romantic.
I
That's
think
the
for a
difference.
platonic relationship to really be platonic, there has to be no attraction. That's my
Oh
opinion.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
that
agree.
I
part.
agree to
Yes,
no
that part.
attraction, but
Yeah,
emotions, that's where it's just a little bit.
yeah, emotions are going to be there because what is a relationship? It's friendship
Yep.
with intimacy, right?
That's
So
what I
friend,
meant. I meant like the, attraction emotions, like the, sexual emotions, I guess. Yeah, that's what I
yeah.
meant.
So that's the difference between friendship and a relationship is you're not doing the intimacy bit. So if you've crossed the line, then now you're not friends anymore. You're literally in a relationship with your friend. So friends with benefits.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
Just the physical intimacy, it's the desire to be intimate. Like the desire for us to be closer than we are, you have effectively now ruined this thing that you called a friendship. It is not that no more. Even if y'all never do anything ever, the fact that one of you
Yeah.
wanted to, the fact that one of you could have,
Do you
y'all
know
are not
what?
friends.
Yes. I couldn't even imagine, right? I'm single at the moment, but I couldn't even imagine having a friend that I thought was attractive. For me, that's torture. Sod that. I haven't
Yeah.
even got the
And
energy for that. Why would
and
I be
then
friends with
two,
someone I was hoping something would happen with? I mean, if it's not happening, it's not happening. Move along. I couldn't
and
even do it.
for the people who like wait around for something to possibly happen, most of the time when friends get together, if it ends bad, they're not friends no more. So obviously you didn't like cherish that
Yeah.
friendship anyway. It wasn't even a friendship
And
because you know what I'm talking about?
100. And here's another point, right? I'm just going to throw this in. You see what we're talking about, right? It makes me laugh even more. But if you think about what we're all discussing here, now imagine your man having a female friend who really likes him. So imagine your boyfriend now having conversations with his female friend about the relationship. What kind of advice do you think she's really going to give him? So can you even trust your
That's what
friend?
they were talking about before.
She's
Not
going to be
She
trying to
could give him
always.
split
good
you up.
advice though.
Not always, because as the friend, and I'm a prime example sitting here, but everybody's different, you know?
Yeah.
Even though I did like my friend, I still encouraged him to go out and date other people. I give him advice. I even told him to call the girl that ghosted him. Like, at the end of the day, whether you like people, it all depends. When you really, really like and value somebody, at the end of the day, you're just going to want to see them happy. And I feel like if you're friends with people and that's not where you're coming from, are you even really friends with these people? And so at the end of
But
the day,
Angie, were you in a
so
relationship when you told him to
Sorry,
do
people
that?
be selfless, and now people aren't
I'm
selfless.
sorry. Yes, I was in a relationship when I told him to do that. And when I was single, I told him to do that.
I
Right,
missed
because
a
you
lot. I was gonna
didn't want to be, because you didn't really want to pursue the romantic part that you
No, I
felt.
did.
Because
I
remember,
did.
even while in a
well, no, because
relationship.
remember you told us that
I
you
just
were like,
value my friendship. Like, I don't want
that's
my
what I'm
friendship
saying.
to get ruined in that, God forbid, something happens between us, you know, we
That's
don't
what I'm
ever
saying.
talk again. But that's
That's what I'm saying. Like you wanted to keep y'all's friendship more than you wanted to pursue the romantic thing. So even though you felt maybe more romantic feelings, you didn't say anything until y'all said y'all had that conversation where he ended up finding it out, I guess, on his own, and then y'all were able to be more honest. So even you in that friendship, you were pushing him to have these other relationships because you were trying to save the friendship part. Because obviously, the closer that y'all got, the more single he was, the more he was relying on you for communication and support. It would be harder for you to keep those two things separate, right?
I think my advice would be to men and women. If you really want a sacred relationship with one another, don't let a third wheel come in. I prioritize your relationship. And I think that's the problem with today's generation and dating. You know, we have too many options. We have too many friends. We have too many busybodies. We have too many people trying to step in. If you really want to focus on your relationship, keep it between you, them, and God. When you have any discrepancies, you sit in peace, you sit in solidarity, you pray, you figure it out. But don't go to family, even family, I say, family, friends, or another male or female.
But
That would be my
I
But
advice.
agree.
I was honestly asking a specific question to Angie, and Angie, if you didn't want to answer, just let me know. But I truly wanted to
I
dialogue
kind of
about
needed
that.
you to repeat the question. My bad.
Okay, so what I'm gathering from what you said is that y'all were friends, and then you started to like him more than friends, but you cared more about your friendship than pursuing something romantically. So even when you were single and not single, you were pushing him to, talk to girls, get into a relationship. And I'm wondering if part of your motivation for doing that is because you didn't want to slip up, because you knew that you have more than friend feelings. But if he stayed too close to you, it could have become something that you were trying to avoid. So
No,
maybe that's why you were pushing him to have other relationships other than you.
because even when he was single, like we would always joke about it, but it wasn't
About
because
what?
I didn't trust myself with him, because the entire time we were friends, he was single. So, like, not seeing anybody, just single to himself.
Y'all were
But
joking about being together? Is that what you're saying?
one more time, can you repeat that?
Y'all would joke about being together? Is that what you
No,
meant?
no, 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 no. We would not joke like that. It would be like, sorry, I need a second to think and gather my words. 1 second.
I think what I heard Angie say was she started off as friends and then romantic feelings started coming. She started liking him. And that's what I heard her say. And it developed. But there was a little fear that if they did get romantic, would she also lose the friendship? But I think there's also an element of feeling maybe there could have been rejection.
It was
And
definitely the rejection part. It was rejection, and
There it
then
is. There it is right there, Dr. Love. Thank you.
it
I
was
was about to say that.
definitely the rejection part, like, that scared me the most of everything else, because that is a man that I like the way he carries himself as a man, you know? So, but I did not be friends with him in order to, I guess, like, push him to date other people in order to save the friendship, because I would not have told him directly. He just figured it out on his own. I would have still remained a loyal friend to him. But I would have pushed myself to look for other people as well. But I'm also younger, and I have other things that I need to be focusing on as well. But I do, it depends on the people. I think a lot of people are friends and they stay friends. I think a lot of people fear rejection, especially with men. But it's also true for women. I think it all depends.
Can I share
Go ahead.
something real quick?
And I also think
So,
that there's such a fine line between romantic feelings and like just deep emotional connection. Do you think it was like you really romanticized being with him, or do you think it was just a really, really deep friendship?
It's a really, really deep friendship. Like, I've had other friends, but like when we met and we were just friends, like, I could talk to him, like, he makes it comfortable for me to talk to him. And it's not like he's pushing, oh, come talk to me or whatever. Like, he genuinely do be looking out for me. And compared to like everybody else that was around me, like our whole friend circle, like, that was like the only person I felt comfortable to confide in. And I don't feel comfortable confiding in people. So it's just like, I don't, that was just something I really, I cherish that, for lack of better
um,
words.
That's
I have a,
understandable.
I have a similar experience to Angie, but not quite the same. So my situation is a little different, and actually is the reason why I don't have female friends. I never have since high school. So when I was in high school, I had a friend named Natalie. We were really cool, laughed and all that. And, she had told a mutual friend of ours that she liked me. And then that friend told me about it. I was like, oh, word? She likes me? All right, bet. So we were going to start dating. But as I I was like, I think 19 or 18. I forgot how old I was. And when I was pondering the future, what we look like, all that stuff, I didn't really trust myself because I was sexually into her, sure, but like as far as like us dating, I didn't really see it going past that. So I didn't really trust my flesh to be like, you know what, I need to like not be friends with you. Because I would have definitely gotten with her, done some stuff, and I would have dipped. That's how I was. That's how I was that's what I was on back then. I wasn't even into like, dating. I was into like, this pleasure and all that other stuff. So, and it wasn't possible for me at that time, even when I was in college, to have like friends, because I just would have used them and I would have left. Even like as I got older, I made some bad choices, but like now I'm not on that mission. I'm on a different mission now. So that's why, like, since that day or since like that time, I've never, ever like wanted to have like an actual friendship where it's like one on one, we're hanging out, kicking it. I can't do it. I can do it with like acquaintances, my homeboys girl, whatever, but I can't do it one on one, you know?
So I'm curious, because didn't you say earlier that women that are friends with men or whatever, they don't add anything to the man's life at all? Like
Well, yeah,
there's no.
we were in high school, so that doesn't really, it wasn't like I need advice for my life. We were in high school, and there was no advice to give. We were just hanging out.
So he was saying in most cases,
Yeah.
he was saying in most cases, and women have to be honest about this. He was saying in most cases, the woman benefits more from a male friend than the male benefits from having a woman friend. And I gave the examples of certain things that can happen in certain friendships where the woman, in some ways, she's benefited from, like I said, all the chivalry, all the gentleman stuff, all the problem solving, the advice, and all these other things that a woman would get in a romantic relationship outside of the kissing and all the other type of stuff. So there are men out here who are platonic friends with women that do everything the boyfriend does just without the romance. And what some women will do is that they'll get a boyfriend who doesn't who doesn't even do what the friend does. So what happens is the boyfriend gives them the intimacy physically, but then the guy friend is the advice guy. And so she benefits from her within her emotional connection, emotional intelligent connection with the guy friend, but her connection with her boyfriend is more physical. And that happens in a lot of cases.
Can I add to that, Fifth?
It's
Go
true.
ahead after that.
Yeah, I'll add to that really quick. So, when I was talking about the utility aspect of it. So my brother-in-law told me when I was younger, he said, when you're going out to fish, you ask the fisherman, not the fish, So when it came to like advice that I would get for dating, I wouldn't ask a woman her opinion about what I should do to get a girl because they don't know what it's like to get a girl as a man. Only the men know how to do that. So I go for men for that kind of advice. And for a lot of problems that I had, there were solutions that other men went through. And so other men are going to help me with that stuff, not a female. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to go to a female and pose these solutions that need to be solved or vent because she's not going to add anything that's going to help me grow as a man. But that's kind of like how I see it. And that's how I've seen it for like pretty much my entire life. And it's never been anything other than that.
So then with that rhetoric, how do men give good advice to women about other men or relationships
Because
if
men know what it's like to date women as a man, and
and
like
women know what it,
men have to understand how women think in order to attract them and to get them.
yeah, but women, I mean, that's like a double standard because women know what women want in a relationship and what we like
Well, not really.
and know what it's
You don't
like
know
to date
you don't know what you want for
men.
lunch. I can't trust you to know what you're gonna want in a
Come
man.
on.
Word. Yo, why you have to eat us up like that?
I'm sorry, I had
That
to.
is such a double standard, is that not?
Yeah, but like that's how double standards exist. That's how it is. I don't know how else to say
Exactly.
it.
Because
And y'all
people
benefit from it every day.
No, obviously not.
because people believe in it. It's not because it's a natural thing that occurs.
But I think it is though, low key. Like I'll give you an example, right? If like look at the Titanic, right? Rose could have helped Jack on that little boat thing. He could have lived, but did she do that? No, because men know
He asked
that
him to get up on the thing. He said no.
hold on. Men know that their lives are expendable.
What?
You say
What are you
yes,
talking
absolutely.
about?
They will prioritize saving women and kids
So who made that
over
happen?
themselves.
Who men are the ones who
That's just how it
made this
is.
whole
You're using a
society and
movie.
what are
No,
what?
that's how it's always been.
Yeah,
How
because
was that a
men made it
double?
that way.
But do you know
I
what?
don't
Do you
think
know
so.
what Malik just said though, and I think what Fifth said. I think if we're being fair, ladies, men do give really good advice when it comes to other men. Men will help with the DIY. Men will help with our car problems. They
Yeah, but
will
we
do
have
the
brothers and
DIY
dads for
and
that.
fix our walls. Some of us don't have dads. And I think
But
when we don't have those kind of people in our lives or brothers who could do those things, then I think the male friend is very, very helpful. And we know whether we're attracted to them or not. And we most likely aren't attracted to them, which is why they're our friends in the first place. And I think for the man, he's, because if it doesn't benefit him. But the only benefit I believe he's hanging around for is waiting for when she's going to crack, because he will have some kind of attraction towards his female
And
friend.
that's manipulative, right?
that's
It
not
Definitely is,
the
but
advice
that's
he would be giving would be biased because he likes her. So
Correct.
he
Yes,
wouldn't be
Just
giving
like
great
for
advice.
women.
I feel like yes, it could be biased, but also we have to take out the relationship and whatever feelings there are. Because real shit, when I was friends with
No
my friend,
cussing. No cussing.
sorry, I'm so sorry. real RS, like when I was friends with my friend, like they're gonna really call a spade a spade. Like men more quicker than women is gonna call a spade a spade. A woman is gonna sit down, and I'll tell you this because I see it every day and I'm a woman. We gonna sit down, we gonna look at XYZ. I was in a relationship with this man and he got me like he showed up with flowers that he could have just kept that shit. Sorry. I'm so sorry, y'all. He could have kept that, to be honest. And it's like I'll talk to my friend about that. And even before there was even any like romantic like interest or any of that, like men do give really good advice, especially when it comes to other men because they know how they think. And they'll be the quickest ones to tell you faster than your best friend that girl, that ain't it. He don't like he's playing with you. Men know the games that other men play and they know it better than women. So I feel like
But then
Because they're
women know
playing that same game.
women know the games that
women,
women play.
let's be real,
But
it
but
takes
women don't
us
give.
getting played after a few times for us to figure out the game, and we have to be for real. Like
We're talking
I
about the game with
understand.
men. We're talking
Yes.
about a woman. No, that's what I'm saying. There's a difference. You're talking about women knowing the game of men. I'm saying women knowing the game of women. So to say that there's
We
a
do know
world.
that, but we're talking about like the male friends, like having a male friend, and I've seen it day in and day out. Having a male friend is more beneficial than having a female friend.
See,
Like
this is what I don't
I
believe that.
do,
I
I
think
do,
they're
and
so
I
why is
do
the man
because
there?
But
I
If he's
women
not
are
benefiting off
that's
of it at
something
all,
that we
there's
have
no
to look at
point.
in society and ask ourselves that. But you
100.
know,
Let let
Women are the worst. Women to woman, it's like a real bad relationship. Yes, you may have the one odd friend that is true and sincere, but women hate upon women the most. And it's
absolutely.
like there's competition. They don't like seeing prettier women than them. They don't like seeing more intelligent women than them. Women are women's worst enemy, not men. Women to women. When you look at like hate on here or anywhere, you'll see it'll be the women giving the most, because the women are the ones who
and a
have the
lot of the
most.
times, the men will tell you whether or not that female friend is your real friend or not.
100, they can sense it. And the
So
thing is,
that's
when a man
no.
gives you bad advice, like we were saying, if he likes you, he's going to give you, yeah, that's possibly true too. But because our intuition is so good, we know when he's adding in a little bit of salt and spice. We can tell. We have that intuitive thing just by being a woman, because of our emotions and the way we feel. So I think when it comes to women and women, you got to be really careful who your friends are, which is also why I say when you're in a relationship, be very careful of your single friends, because they're not all going to want to see you happy in a relationship. So you have to be very careful who you talk to
Yes,
about
misery
what.
But
loves
why wouldn't
company.
our female intuition clock in or
Thank you.
clock in when we're in that female to female relationship? So the female intuition only happens with this female male relationship, so I can know that he's actually giving me good advice.
Well, the
Like
thing is,
it's
Jess,
situational,
no,
or do I
Okay.
just have my female intuition regardless?
no.
Yeah.
You see your
What? Well, hold
intuition.
And
on, hold on.
also, can I
What?
say one thing
What
before I
is?
forget it?
What is female intuition? This is the fifth time somebody said that in a row.
It's
Just
What's
what it
female
sounds
It's
like.
a
intuition?
gut feeling of it's a gut feeling that you have in your body that you're sure about something. Like
for
this is
me.
definitely what that is.
Yeah, for me, it's a sixth sense. Now, what Jess said is true. It's not just with men, Jess, it's also with women. I can tell when I've got a female who's in competition with me. I can tell when I've got a friend who's trying to do one up on me because I have a very, very strong intuitive sense and I understand how women think and I also understand how men think. I understand human behavior. So because I understand that, I can tell, like I've had it on here umpteen times. I have a few accounts. I have women coming on here. Oh my God, you're so beautiful. Oh my God, I love your content. Oh my God, you're this and that. Some of it's genuine, but a lot of it isn't. And I
How do
can
you know
sense
it's
it
not?
because you see, it's not just what they say. I don't listen to what people just say. I watch what they do. I watch their actions. And for example, you've got someone here bigging you up. You're amazing. You're this. But then they go past your content. Then they go past your comments. Then they make little snidey digs here and there, trying to show you down in very subtle moments. But I watch what they do. So for me, it's very easy to deter. But for a lot
So
of women, it's not.
I've seen, so I hear a lot about like this women against women on TikTok, but I've never seen that in real life. And maybe I just have a really good circle of friends. I've been friends with my friends since first grade, and I would never, ever imagine doing anything to really any woman to hurt them or be malicious. So I don't understand where it's coming
Because
from, and
that's
maybe that's just
you.
me.
Because you're confident within who you are. Your circle of friends, you know them inside out. I have a very, very small circle of friends that I've known for majority of my life, right? 30, 35 years I've known them. Very new people are acquaintances. Even that, they have to go through a very big process for me to trust them. But the thing is, you do get it. You get it out there in the workplace. You get it out in the when you're meeting new people. You get it when your partner takes you and you meet his girlfriend. It's always around you. It's whether you trust your own instinct to know energy doesn't lie.
Energy definitely doesn't lie, and since we want to talk about it, we could talk about the gossip that women do. A lot of times women, and I've distanced myself from friends because all they want to do is sit around and talk about boys. They want to sit around and gossip about other people. Like, we got other things to do in this life. But
Men do that too about women as well. Like I've heard men on these panels talk about how they have women who are friends but they would never date her because she gets with everyone. Like that's not your friend then if you're talking crap
that's
about her.
them talking about why
The
you would
internet.
never date them. That's that. But I'm talking about like
That's gossip.
women to women, but like men to
But it is
men.
gossip though,
I'm
Angie.
talking
It is
about
gossip.
women to women gossip. Like you get around a group of girls, and that's true for you guys, but I'm telling y'all my experience, okay?
So
You
we
also
all
gotta
have
take
different
into
experiences, but I
exactly, and
really,
that's
really, truly
important.
think we are socially conditioned to think this way. And it's not something that if we
I wouldn't call it socially conditioned, but continue. I'm listening.
I'm curious why not?
Because I was not socially conditioned that way.
Well, you are because you grow up
That's
in this society.
I did grow up in this society, but I also have a brain for myself, and I don't follow societal norms. I'm very outside of the box. If you see the way I dress, you'll be like, "Oh my!" I don't follow societal norms at all. Like my people ain't even from here, so
My
like
people aren't either, but no one's from here. I mean, but I don't know. Maybe I'm.
I think like everybody's experience. Like I hear what you guys are saying. Women can definitely be there and support each other. I'm not knocking that. I got two great friends in my life. But we also have to look at the negative things that women do to one another.
100.
And she
I mean, yeah, of
definitely did
course.
point that out. And I'm just speaking on things that I've seen, experienced day after day in the workplace. Like Dr. Love mentioned, I like the amount of like you could walk away and all the women on the floor are all and sometimes the men they'll be there, they might cackle and stuff with the gossip, but like the women are really the one that's feeding into it. And don't get me wrong, men can be messy too. But
Well,
that
and men can be
gossip,
very dangerous as well.
Oh yeah.
Men, I feel
gossip,
like men are
Nowhere
the
near
best
as
of
dangerous
this.
as a woman, though. I think us women, we're very, very manipulative. We're very, very conniving when we want to be. We know what we want. We know our voices weren't heard. So we will go around about however we need to get what we need to get. And I think with men, they can also, with men, it's more ego. Their egos come into play man to man with us. We're just slightly more deceptive.
Yeah, because
So I
women
had one.
are the
Deceptive.
I had
women
No,
one more
hey,
women are the
question.
weaker.
Dr. Love, they're
Hold
gonna
on,
hate you for saying that.
No,
Go
I
ahead,
don't
Emily.
hate anyone.
hold on,
I
hold on, hold on, hold on,
understand.
hold on.
You know
it's
what?
it's
I
like
have a
we have
question
to.
though.
Let's not.
Malik wanted to speak for
I
a
feel
hot
like we
minute.
should also bring in some
Yeah,
statistics into this as well.
yeah, hold on.
Yeah.
So to
Can I
Malik
Dr.
say
wanted to
one
Love's
speak.
thing?
Malik
I'm
wanted to
Hey,
speak though.
wait a second. Wait a
okay.
second. Let Malik talk because he's been waiting. Go ahead.
yeah, to Dr. Love's point, that is true. Women are more manipulative, but it's only because women are the weaker sex, like physically, so they have to get around doing things in a different way. Like men, we have the monopoly of force. Women don't have that, so they have to operate in a different lens than men do. That's just biology.
Mean and fight for a lot of our rights. So that that's why I talk about socially conditioned. Like,
And
but
what do
I
you
was gonna
define as
say
manipulation?
me.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say like if men are these such great friends to in general and to women and give great advice and stuff like that, how come that their male friendships are lacking in substance a lot of the time? And I'm not saying all male friendships, but
Can you
there is a
elaborate on that?
reason why
What do you
women
mean?
live longer single than men single and men live longer in marriages and women don't, is because of that friendship and that connection we have with our friends. Men don't have that.
It,
I
but
don't.
J Dub, it's about 2 years.
What?
2 year difference. But go ahead.
Well, I was just saying that if
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we
now
hear
we
you
can.
now. Yeah.
We can. No,
No,
I
no.
can.
She said men. She said the women. She said the women live longer. She brought up the age thing about living longer, and I said it's about 2 years.
Well, so I wasn't even saying it about men and women. I was more so saying women live longer single than married, and it's the opposite for men. Men live longer married than single, and I truly believe it's maybe not all, but I believe it's
Yeah,
the connections we
by
have.
2 years, J Dub. Only 2 years.
Yeah, only 2 years that men live and that women live longer single
No, you
Yeah.
said
than
the
married.
men live. Well, it's no the married men and the single men. It's about 2 years.
Huh? I'll have to look at that. I didn't realize that,
Health,
but
how men prioritize it. Men do not prioritize their health. They'll be 40 and they still did not go get that what's that procedure called?
prostate checked.
Yes.
But that also has to do with
Men don't
so
do
what's
that
the
Well,
women's
well, here's the
reasoning for it?
context.
a lot of the time.
Well, here's the
That's like
context. The men want to stay around for their family. Men want to stay around for their family, their legacy. The fight to stay alive longer for that may
Yeah, I
have the
can see that.
context as far as the living longer part. But yeah, it's
And
only about
also,
it's only about 2 years. So when I know I know it gets brought up a lot, but they're acting like it's like a 15-year gap. No, it's really just by 2 years on average.
I thought it was more like 5, but 2, yeah, that's not that much. I'll have to look into it more. I always thought that definitely is true about wanting to live longer for your
Women,
family, but also being being able to like open up and have that friendship with your wife and be able to feel safe and transparent and get it out because our emotions when we suppress them, it really affects our health. That's what I thought.
I have a question for Dr. Love. What do you mean that you're mentally stronger? And I'm receptive to whatever answer you have because I have 4 older sisters.
Yeah.
But I kind of seen like how strong they are in their own lives. But what do you like? Are you saying that in general, women are mentally stronger than men?
I think women are mentally more stronger than men. Like men are more physically stronger than women. That's a
Yeah.
fact. So I think we can take on a lot more. We can, because we get to talk about our emotions, we talk about what's going on. We can multitask a lot more as well. So as a comparison, in order to be able to multitask and things like that, you do have to be mentally stronger. We can take on a lot more. We don't like it, but we sometimes don't have a choice, right? But we can take on a lot more. We're not the same, like in the physical strength as a man, obviously.
But what about
Doc,
like how
doc,
men
doc, doc,
prioritize
Doctor
logic over
Doctor
emotion?
Love,
Yes. Yeah. Fifth?
Doctor Love. My bad, Malik. Because hey, can y'all hear
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can hear
me?
you, bro. Yeah.
Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Okay,
Yes.
my bad, Malik. It's just that when I hear things spoken, we got to unpack it properly.
Hmm.
Dr. Love, you said multitasking. Multitasking is actually men are more in favor of multitasking. We're actually better at multitasking.
I don't. Are you? I know. I'm a bit quizzed at that because men generally do one thing at a time and they do it amazingly. It's one of the traits that I highly admire in a man. The fact that he'll do one thing at a time and he'll do it better, whereas we're trying to do 5, 6 things at the
We'll
same time.
we'll do one task at a time, but our brains work in a multitasking way in terms of being visionaries and thinking ahead.
Yeah, but you do a task at a time, whereas us women will do several tasks at the same time. And in order to do that,
How do you
whilst
how do you substantiate that claim?
because if you think about it, I'll give you an example.
Research.
So if we've got, I'm going to use a basic one,
Research
right?
doesn't support that. Thank you.
No, it does. I just looked it up. And it actually says
What does it say?
we're both poor at it. So. But it says research states that
J
women.
JW muted.
Oh,
Repeat that again. J you
women are really poor at multitasking, but the studies they have done, women excel more, and men are more, like she said, one task and getting it done very well, and then moving on to the next. But women juggle a lot of stuff. Not saying we're better at it, but that's what we tend to do.
She's not wrong. In a work environment, women are acting like, practices or CEOs or whatever. Women do excel. I've seen that. Like I've heard about that as well. Women do a good job in those kind of areas for sure.
Well, I was referring to the long game. I was saying that men we're better at thinking ahead. We're better at seeing ahead about certain things. I mean, if that's not multitasking, I stand corrected. But there are things that we're better at in terms of the long game plans. I feel like men are better at that.
If that's more goal setting, that's more,
Yeah.
that's not really multitasking. That's really more about, multitasking is doing multiple tasks at the same time.
And even the way our brains are set up, men's are more like boxes, and one box can only be open at a time. Whereas women, like they have to finish that, whatever they're thinking about or whatever they're doing, and then close that box and then open another one. But women's brains are more like yarn that's unraveled and everything is attached to everything. And that's why we can go from like one story and it goes into another story because they're all intertwined.
It's
That's how
like
we
I
learn.
could be like earlier on, I was cooking. I
Okay,
had the
now I
washing
do
machine
agree
on.
with that. Y'all definitely communicate like
Yeah,
that.
but even like earlier on, I was cooking because I had to get the dinner on the table. I had the wash on. I was putting clothes away. I was looking out for the dog. I was making sure the kids weren't fighting. I was multitasking, and this was all done in the space of 20 minutes. I had several tabs open.
She's not wrong, Fifth, because if a woman's a stay-at-home mom, she got to do all that anyway.
But even if I'm at work, so that was just an example I would use at work. If I'm
yeah,
at
I was
work,
just saying that's an example though. Like stay-at-home moms do that all the time.
yeah, exactly. But what I'm saying is women can also do that out in the workplace. We'll be writing an email, we'll be answering a phone call, we'll be answering a question from a colleague that's walked through the door. We'll be multitasking. Whereas if you watch a man work, he'll be writing an email, everything else will be do not disturb. If someone walks in, he'll be paying him attention and answering the question. Everything else will be do not disturb. This is just the difference between the multitasking aspect.
The question I do have though is you say you're mentally stronger, and I agree with you in a lot of aspects you are, but what do you say about how the fact that women prioritize their emotions over logic a lot of times?
Say that again. Women
prioritize emotion over logic a lot of times.
Yes, because men are logical. by design and women are emotional by design. That does not mean that we don't possess both of the traits, but women will generally go towards more emotions because we have, if you just look at the way, like they say, a man will not really change. Yes, he'll become more ambitious and he'll strive for bigger things, but him as himself, he will remain pretty much the same. He'll get better at things, but mostly he'll be the same. Whilst women, we change all the time. We change when we get married, we change when we have kids, we change when we hit menopause, we change once the kids leave. We are forever changing. That's why we are so complicated, in my opinion.
I'll give you an
So
example as to why I have a little bit of pushback against that, because I'll give you an example, right? So me and my fiance live together, right? Living together for the past like 2 or 3 years, and her sister wants to move in with us. Well, I thought about it. I was like, I love her to death, but I don't think it's going to be really good for us because she has cats. I have a dog. Like, it's not going to work. But that's her sister, though, so she feels like she's going to be a good add-on to our house. But like, what I'm saying is that later on, how my fiance works, she'll disagree with my logic, and later on agree with it because her feelings got in the way. You know what I mean?
It goes back to J-Dub's social conditioning point, of how women are allowed to be quote unquote emotional, and it's not seen as a bad thing until you're like, I guess, inside of a courtroom. But men are taught that to be manly is to be the antithesis of what it means to be feminine. And if
Right.
we're considering, and if we consider being emotional a feminine thing, then men would just work their hardest as they grow up to exist outside of that box. So I think that there's a part of that we can't separate the nature versus nurture conversation. Just about how men are taught to be stoic. Men are taught that boys don't cry. They're taught a lot of ways to push their emotions down, and women are given the ability to cry and express and emote. Oh my gosh, she's so vulnerable and stuff like that, right?
because
I agree with you because
truthfully,
Jess, you really
emotional.
saying this? You really saying this
Hey,
again? Again?
y'all
so
going too
research
fast. You
shows.
don't want to wait. Y'all going too fast. Y'all don't want to miss these points. This is why I'm here as a host.
Well, I was
Jess,
gonna agree with her, Fritz.
and that's cool, Malik. But check this out. We gotta unpack. See, people say a lot of stuff. We gotta unpack this stuff. Jess, do you want a man who's emotional?
Yeah.
Oh,
We all have
Cap.
emotions.
no. That's not what I'm saying.
You asking the wrong
We're
question,
talking
Fifth.
about the. Oh no, KJ, trust me. I'm asking the right question. I'm gonna tell you why. Because she got up here and and I'm saying this respectfully to Jess. I'm not saying that, but Jess talked about social programming. I'm willing to prove she's programmed too.
Yeah, I've had to deprogram myself. Yeah.
Okay, so the thing is that you talked about the emotion part, right? Emoting. Now we're talking about crying. So let's talk about the crying part. Would you want to be with a man who's every time y'all watch a a movie or whatever, he crying and stuff like that? Like how commonly they show women doing that, right? Something happens in a movie that's tragic, a woman may tear up and stuff like that. Watch a commercial,
Yeah.
um, where kids are starving and somewhere in a country and dogs are being maimed and stuff, and dogs are being mistreated, and he
Wow.
cry. Would you want to be with a man who's crying like that?
Yeah, I would. Next question.
Cap.
I
Good,
don't I don't
good,
I
good.
don't exist in this world where men can't cry. And I find that effeminate. That I've deprogrammed myself from believing a man can't do that, which is different than what children do. Children will cry at anything, especially to manipulate their parents. You being emotional is human. You being emotionally unregulated is childish. Those are different things.
Get
So
those
So
she
I
words
like
in
thinks
his
that you.
face.
Yeah, y'all go ahead. I'm
okay,
good.
Jay, you can go ahead.
Oh my God. This is why I said, that's why I keep saying that women don't know what masculinity is. This is why I keep saying this. because it's becoming more apparent by the day. Men aren't saying that we can't be emotional. It's unmanly to be too emotional or overly emotional over little stuff. And there are certain things that you may consider to be major that we don't consider to be a big deal. All right. Perfect example. Unaliving. Guess what? People unalive every single day. You mean to tell me that you seen all your friends lose their parents, lose their grandparents, and you expected that it wasn't going to happen to you? For a man to not be emotionally regulated during a time of grief is more apparent that he lacks that emotional intelligence when he isn't doing his part to fix that. And that's the problem, right? So what I'm talking about, and what I'm pretty sure most of the men up here will agree with me on, is that when we're talking about crying, we're not saying that we shouldn't cry at all. We're saying that one, we need to know what we're crying about, and we need to know when the right time is to display that emotion. And guess what? Most of the time, it's not in front of our girlfriends. It's not in front of our wives.
Thank
That's
you.
That's
very
the
awesome.
reality.
Not the reality.
And
That's the
it ain't
reality
and
you
it ain't our
create.
and it ain't our fault
That's what
either.
you're telling
It
yourself
is
is the
it is men's
reality.
fault though. It's men who set that rule up. It's
Not
men who
really, no.
control our societies. It's men who have dominated all of the industries. It's men who defined what it meant to be feminine. So if men defined for generations what it meant to be a woman, then by default, they were defining what it meant to be a man. And so we all live in this world where we've been programmed, where it is weird when a man is crying, like what Fitz said, at an emotional movie. People would consider that effeminate, not because it's naturally effeminate, but because society deems it to not be masculine enough. It's not deemed as masculine. And what I'm saying is like what KJ is saying, is that clearly you need to have discernment about when to be quote unquote emotional. But that's you being an adult. That's not you being men. That's not her being a woman. You being an adult means you need to have regulation over your emotions.
And also, I wanted to
Period.
add really
Go
quick,
ahead. Go ahead.
masculinity and femininity. I can't talk, but that is a concept we made up. That is not something that we inherited at birth. That is something that we made up. Well, men made up. Just to put that out there. So you saying like masculine men, that's it's fake. We both have those qualities.
Because if you go to Asia, there's a lot of things that Asian men do that American men would see as very effeminate. Y'all would not see that as masculine. So because there's no universal human definition of masculinity, it's cultural based, then we have to know it's situational.
And also, they've done research that
So
on our brain and how we make decisions, and it is pretty much the same. There's very slight differences. So people saying that women make decisions off emotions and men is logical. That is, again, we're socially conditioned to think that way, and it has, grown to that's just the thing. So that's, I don't know. All
Pivoting
these
all
things
these
are
things
lies.
to
Fifth,
social
fifth,
conditioning is just the ultimate
fifth. Can I
epiphany of
respond
lack
to
of
this really
accountability.
quick?
That's all I gotta say. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, hold on. So what KJ is saying, Jess, and he's right, is the fact that every woman is different, and so emotions change within women. Women don't know what they want for lunch a lot of times. So, like, am I going to roll the dice on the probability that I can cry in front of her? No, because she might not like that. And
Who
every
cares
woman
what
is
she
different, so
likes?
I'm not going to.
It's about you and your feelings.
That's not how men think, though.
But again, it's because of the rejection. You're scared of being rejected by her based on this definition of masculinity that you didn't create. Which is why when men come on these panels and saying, why are y'all holding us accountable for the sins of men? Like, I don't know them. They're not me. Like, I didn't do that to y'all. This is the same thing. Men are now saying that women are not great places to be emotional in because of the definition of
Woman that they
masculinity.
choose
It could be
that
that, but it's
didn't do
also
it.
because of the definition of masculinity that another man in the past told you. So again, women
The
also
definition of
believe this.
masculinity is
Women,
merely just a
women
collective of
also,
character traits that are
women also.
predominantly seen amongst
I
men.
want
What
to
are you talking
validate
about?
Malik what you're saying. Women have often been not great places for men to express themselves. Women have lied on men for generations, gotten them arrested. A lot of women are very dangerous to men. What I'm telling you is the same thing I said about the Christian women. There are a lot of women with internalized misogyny. So they're going to express that you can't cry, that you need to make a certain amount of money or you're not a man. they're going to express the same things that we can hear from other men because they again are the weaker vessel. They're under the man, and so if men are saying this, of course there's going to be women who say it too.
You know what?
Also, anger is an emotion.
I think when I put in the comments, would I want an emotional man? I'd want a emotionally intelligent man, a man who knows when to be, show his emotions, like KJ, sorry, and when not to. If we're watching, if my pet's passed away or something emotional has happened, I wouldn't be alarmed if he cried because I'd understand that through empathy. But at the same time, if we're, walking down and something happens and he's crying every 2 minutes, I know I wouldn't want that. And I think culture plays a massive role
Yeah,
because
but you,
where I
but
come from culturally, our men are the providers. We see them as strong. We rely on them. I'd want to be with someone who I know has got me when I haven't got myself. And if he wasn't strong enough emotionally to be able to do that, I personally would feel like maybe, I don't know if I wouldn't have respect for him, but I'd certainly feel like I would have to carry the relationship. And that's not how I see it. For me, a man must lead in direction and be capable of leading so that I can drop my guard and just rely on him to make decisions for us. So emotionally intelligent, for me, would be absolutely crucial because if he wasn't, then I don't believe I could be with him because I wouldn't trust to be with him.
Yeah, he's
so
not being transparent.
everybody here is arguing off of a false pretense of what masculinity is. It's simply just a character trait. It's simply just a collective
So,
of traits that are predominantly seen amongst men. That's it. Same
so
thing with femininity,
before,
right?
Can I say,
And this is a hold on, and this is the problem, right? Because men don't act on an emotional level that you want them to act, that means that they lack emotional intelligence. And that's not how emotional intelligence works. It's fundamentally different for men and women, and they manifest in
really,
different ways. Your
how does
aspect of emotional,
emotional intelligence work?
hold on, because I'll let y'all speak.
Let him land. Let him land.
can I say
Y'all,
something after him?
y'all have when women, they have a different way of addressing their emotions, and that's fine. You guys have the prerogative of addressing your emotions as whatever way that you see fit, as long as it doesn't negatively affect you or the people around you. It's fine. Let it rock. Men have the same prerogative. If we choose to address our emotions in a different way, if we choose to address our emotions within a little bit more discreetness, right? It doesn't mean that we're not showing that we're not emotional, that we're operating like we're robots. No, that's not what we're talking about. There are some things that you don't need to know. There's some things that you are not entitled to. And one of those things is my vulnerabilities. I don't give a care if my mama did pass away. Me crying is not I'm not obligated to cry in front of you. And if you want to try and manipulate the situation and say, well, if you can't cry in front of me because your mother passed away, then that means I can't trust you. Okay, bye. Like, what the
Yeah,
hell
but
are we
what if
talking about?
That's
This is
what
the
we're
type.
talking
This is
about.
the
So
type.
why are you
This is
so
the type of. Hold
angry?
on, hold on. This is the problem. See, this is the reality. Whenever you have a man that is addressing what he's addressing, and it comes from a level of passion, if his octave level is a little bit up, it's automatically presumed to be angry. Half of the time, a man isn't even angry. He's speaking from a level of passion, and when you conflate the two, that's how we know as men that y'all don't really know what you're talking about when it comes to our own issues. Which is why most of us don't even want y'all to speak on it
but
because it's
this is
just a bunch of circular BS.
but this is
Can
why
I?
I asked you, what is emotional intelligence to you, KJ?
It's not a subjective thing. It's just different for men and women.
What is it for you?
Emotional intelligence is having full control over your emotions
Okay.
and not
And,
letting
and
your emotions negatively impact the situation at hand, yourself, or the people around you. That's what emotional
there we
intelligence is,
go.
and it can manifest
He's right.
in different ways. Because I choose not to allow because there. If I choose as a man that there are just some things that I don't want to tell you, not only for my own protection, but for your protection as well, because I know that as a man, you're not designed to deal with my BS. All right. That's just the reality. And if I can acknowledge that, then that means I need to use my outlets appropriately. I have friends. I have a father. I have an uncle. I have cousins that understand what I'm going through as a man, and they'll be able to address the issues more discreetly and in a more substantiative way. You won't be able to do that because some of the things that I'm talking about dealing with is not something that you deal with initially. And that's okay. If I have a problem that specifically impacts you, then guess who I'm going to about it? You.
Can I say a couple things?
Please.
Um, the words, I urge you to look up the words where they came from, feminine and masculine.
I know they're
It was
subjective. There's no
so
point
it.
in me doing that.
Do you need to talk more? I can
J
mute.
J J J Dub, go ahead. Go ahead. Go
Okay.
ahead.
So it was just used for gender. That's it. Instead of saying female, male, that's what they used to call gender when it first came about. And then men added traits to it. And that's where it became bad because everyone has those traits. It's a spectrum. So to put only one person on this side and one person on that side, it's wrong. So that's how it's a concept that was made up, and it is very bad for us. Another thing is anger is an emotion as well. And if you look at all these men who get angry off of something another man says and then acts on their emotion and does something horrible, and then they end up in jail. So the
Yep.
fact that you say a lot of men have these emotional, intelligence and regulation and everything, I don't see it out in the open.
Because it's not for you to see out in the open. That's the problem.
But see,
You
that's
expect it
why
to be revealed to
men.
you when you don't need to see it. It's not for you
She's
to
not
see.
done, KJ.
What
Yeah,
the
I'm not done. And I think, thank you. I think also a lot of the times that men say that women are not letting them be emotional or crying in front of them, it's because it is used for manipulation. At least in my own life, every time my ex used to do something horrible, and then I would, react to what he did or anything like that, he would cry because, or if I said I was going to leave, I was over this or whatever, he would start crying, and he only cried because it's manipulation. And I think that's a lot of what men are saying. I think they forget to add that part to it, because if a man was crying because of a sad movie, I don't see ever a woman making fun of him. Or if he's crying because his mom passed away, that is something normal. Humans have emotions, and men are taught socially, and society teaches them, their family, everything, that men need to suppress those emotions and be stoic. And that is hurtful, not only to other people, but to you and your body as well. When we keep those emotions inside, it
I
comes
said
out as
anything about keeping them
diseases.
inside. That's all I know you're not listening.
She's making her point though,
I said
KJ.
specific.
Hey, hold on.
Hmm.
Stop. I gotta cut in. Hey, in the chat, H4L and Maxwell, I would like to bring y'all up, but the thing is, I gotta go to work, so I gotta let everybody get their final thoughts because I gotta end the stream. Thank you, brother H4L. I'll try to check your stream out a little later on my breaks.
You're about to make me go
Maxwell,
live.
come back. Yeah, Maxwell, come back next week. All right. Sorry about that, y'all. So this is what I need. This was a great conversation, but here's the thing. Every time like we get into like a topic that keeps going, and then what I'll do is I'll choose that topic for the next episode, and those people who were so passionate on that topic never show up.
What time are you going live about the topic?
Yeah, I
Yo,
want to know too.
what we
Because I bet you I'll be there.
Tuesday.
I'll be there too.
Tuesday?
Definitely look at my graphic, right? I go live Tuesdays and Thursdays,
Bro!
1 p.m. Eastern time, 12 Central.
1 p.
All
Tuesday. So
right,
you
Tuesdays and
gonna
Thursdays. Yeah,
revisit
go
this
ahead.
Tuesday.
Yeah,
All right.
this exact conversation we're
I'll
having
be
right
at
now
work.
because
Can you make it on a Wednesday instead about this topic? Because I'm off
you said
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
That's completely
Yeah, I
outside
don't
of
go
his
live on
schedule.
Wednesdays. Yeah,
Or
that
what?
sounds
You
good.
only come on Tuesday?
Okay, Tuesdays
Oh, and Thursday.
and
Oh, do
Thursdays.
Thursday instead.
Okay,
Because
can
then
I
I
get
can
a
be here.
cool? Can I get a promise from y'all that y'all come back Thursday?
I
I
already
pinky
added
swear.
you. Add
You
add
already
me
know how it
back if
is
I
with me, sis.
add
I'll
me
be there.
back if I forget. Just invite me and then I'll remember that. But I'll set an alarm just in case.
You know how it is. I'll be
I
here.
got you. This topic is a great topic, but every time I do this, the people, they never come back the next day. They be so passionate, and then when I pick the actual topic, they don't show up. So
I'm for real about to
next
go live
Thursday,
about this.
thank you. Next Thursday, I will center around this topic as far as the femininity and masculinity thing. Right? Is that okay?
Yep.
Hmm.
Okay, cool. We'll do that Thursday. What I'm
Thank
doing, I
you.
like to listen to the. No problem. I like to listen to the playbacks. Meerkat, I'm sorry, I gotta go soon, Meerkat. But yeah, what I'm gonna do is next Thursday we're gonna continue this topic. I want to thank everybody for making this a good live. The algorithm is not friendly to me lately, but shout outs to everyone who came in and supported this episode. Can I get final thoughts from everyone before y'all go?
Well, if nobody else is gonna speak, this is what I will say. As far as the prompt goes, W prompt, it is very determinant on sexual discipline. If a man or a woman lacks in that, then of course they can't be friends because there's always going to be that possibility based on that lack of behavioral traits. As far as the conversation that we were just having goes, I really want to emphasize the fact that the fundamental misunderstanding that not even just women, but society in general have about masculinity and femininity, as subjective as it is, can be very frustrating at times, given the fact that it constantly gets explained from the perspective of a man, and then they still reject it and they still try to blame different assets to it, not fully wanting to have the conversation in nuance, but only want to reciprocate certain talking points because of what they heard on the internet. Not actually having these fruitful conversations with the men around them to see whether or not what is actually being stated has fruit to it. All I'm saying is that just because you disagree with the premise on how masculinity is presented from somebody doesn't mean that it's not doesn't mean that it's bad, right? Your understanding of it is just different from everybody else's, and if you can't admit that, that's not his problem, that's your problem. I'll land off of that.
I'll go next. I'll just say that first of all, Fifth, you know how it is with me. I'm very grateful, appreciative of having me on here. I love these kind of things. It's always fun talking and whatnot.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, so I'll just say this for the whole stoic thing. To J Dub's point, yes, when men don't have control over their emotions, that's what happens, is that they turn into school shooters and do all these heinous things. That is the savagery that can be caused by men. So the whole stoic thing isn't to like keep it inside, it's to have control over that emotion, and to put it elsewhere that's not detrimental to society or your family. And I'll land there.
I agree.
All right, who? Go ahead, Angie.
I agree. I want to take it back to the prompt again. I do believe, like what the Beyonder and KJ said, that it is discipline has a lot to do with it. Like people are able to be friends. Discipline, as long as both parties are disciplined and they set adequate boundaries in their relationships and friendships, I don't see no issue. Yeah.
Okay, I'll go next. I think on the prompt, men and women, can they be friends? Are they waiting their turns? I think majority are, unless it's a totally platonic relationship. And we've already discussed what platonic is and non-platonic. So that's based on that. Based on emotional intelligence, which is what I said earlier, emotional intelligence is being able to manage not only your emotions, but it's also having empathy, social skills, regulating and awareness of the others around you too. So it's a combination of both. It's not just subjective to how one feels. It's also being socially aware of how others around you are. That's what emotionally intelligent is. And I'm looking forward to the next conversation about masculinity and femininity because it is personal. I don't think we have a set rule of what it should be, but I also believe it's what we perceive it to be. And I'll be intrigued to get into our next conversation to discuss that.
And that's also what I
Real,
wanted to
real
say.
quick. Hold on. Before J-Dub and Jess go, before Jess and J-Dub go, I want to make an announcement because Angie and Malik are on here right now. Uh, in my graphic, I have a promotion. I'm promoting a show. I'm hosting a new show on my YouTube channel. It's called Fifth at Night. On camera show. On camera. All right. On first episode, April 13th, Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 Central. My guest for the first episode will be Malik, aka the Beyonder, Angie, Lovely Mila, Lena, who's also been on here before. All right, and Zacchaeus. They're going to be on episode 1. This show is an on-camera show with rotating guests, and then some who will be on it all the time. But it is a debate show, respectful, of course. It's going to be very fun. It's going to be very fun. 6-person panel show, so that everybody can get their burn. You feel me? And on episode 1, once again, I'm the host, but it's going to be Malik, aka the Beyonder, Lovely Mila, Lovely Lena, for those who remember her, and Angie and Zacchaeus for episode 1. All right? I'm trying to get Jess, but I ain't going to put her on the spot. I'm going to get on there
Said I
on
would
one of the
do it.
episodes. You did? You going to be on the
Remember?
episode too?
Remember you said, can I come? And I was like, yeah.
I know. How come I
Can I
wasn't
get you?
invited?
I'm
I'm just joking.
Are
I
you
was
free
just
for that?
playing.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I was about to seriously invite you, but if you were just joking,
I don't even have YouTube.
if you don't even have YouTube, you know YouTube's free, right?
No, I know. I just don't have it, I guess.
LOL. You said it's free.
Wow. Yeah, YouTube is free. YouTube.com. You don't have to have
I
a
mean, I
membership
go
to
on
be to
YouTube.
watch
I just
YouTube.
don't have an account.
Yeah.
My bad.
Make one.
Listen.
I'm a granny.
Okay,
I'm
hold on.
sorry.
Let me be clear for people who are just stuck on TikTok, right? You don't have to have a YouTube account to be on my show. It's streamed on YouTube, but I'm using a hosting platform that streams
Oh.
through YouTube, and it doesn't require an account at all. I just
Oh.
want that to be clear for
Thank
the
you, because I
viewers.
had no
Because
clue.
no, that's okay. Because a person said, I invited a person to be on the show, and she said, I don't have a YouTube account, so I won't be able to go on there. And I had to inform her that to stream it on YouTube and having a YouTube account is 2 different things. You can have to comment, you may need a YouTube account. Yes. But YouTube is free because YouTube is public. TikTok is not really that public. You have to sign up. You can't just watch TikTok like that unless you have a TikTok account. I know there's a limit to it, but it is via StreamYard service. I invite people as a guest. It's like an access link. They come in as long as they have a working phone or a computer with a webcam and a mic. It's very simple. I think once people see the first episode, then they'll get it. So shout outs to everybody who's going to be on the first episode, because that will set a precedent and example going forward on how someone can be on the show. Okay? So Jess, you're going to commit to episode 2. That's April 20th.
Yeah, I can be there.
420.
Good. Yeah. Oh, you're gonna be doing something. Anyway.
Who said that?
All right. So
Well,
you said 420, and I know why you said that. So let me just Anyway, this is TikTok. We can't. Let's not get flagged. All right. So hey, Jess, give your
yeah.
final thought, and then J Dub can go last. Go ahead.
Okay, my final thought was going to be, because masculinity and femininity have no universal definitions, you cannot then come on a panel and say people don't understand it. It's subjective. It's situational. So that talking point is very just moot. But also, I did want to say to the prompt itself that you do need to have self-discipline in all areas of your life, especially as you're single, and even in the relationship. So if you don't have a level of discipline with your friends as a single person, you're definitely not going to have it in your relationship. So that's more about self-reflection than your partner being the reason why you can't do something or not. And I land.
Go ahead, J Dub.
Okay. I just wanted to say that I loved this panel. It was really great and I learned a lot. And I really love when people have an open mind to stuff, like even Malik. I feel like me and him didn't see eye to eye, and then we had a lot of things that we did. I think it's detrimental when one person is stuck on a rhetoric or a situation and they don't want to change at all or don't want to see the other person's point of view. I think that's where our society is failing. So I'll be happy to come on again and hopefully learn some more stuff.
Thank you, J Dub, for saying that. I've been waiting for you to come on this show for weeks.
I was on before.
Yeah, you came on like when I was about to close the show.
Well, because you come on, it's 10 o'clock here, and normally I'm
Right,
working.
you live in the West Coast. I understand.
Yeah,
So
the West Coast, you know.
okay, so you live on the West Coast.
Hey, now we on the East over here.
All my family's in
Right.
New York, but my grandparents
Yeah.
moved out here to California, so that's where I'm at.
Okay,
North
shout outs.
Carolina.
But right, Malik, where you at? You in Connecticut, right?
That's where I'm from. But I'm in North Carolina.
Oh, okay, yeah. Like for instance, I'm in Houston, but I'm from New York, so I get it. Okay, all right. So yeah, shout outs. All right, so yeah, once again, for people listening, I go live on TikTok every Tuesday and Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 12 Central. New show alert, 5th at night, only on YouTube. Mondays, premiering April 13th. It will be every Monday at 7 Eastern Time, 6 Central. All right. I'm a media person, so I do a couple things, and there's gonna be it's gonna be I'm gonna have a busy schedule, and I also have a day job, so I try to do a little bit of everything. All right. I want to thank everybody for coming on the platform. Always make sure everybody get their thing, different perspectives, real conversations. We don't have to always agree, but if we're gonna disagree, let's make sure we do it respectfully. All right, I'm out, y'all. Hey, y'all have a good weekend, everyone.
Prophet, thank you.
Bye. Thank
Thank you, Jess. Thank you, Angie. Thank you, Malik. Thank you, J Dub. Thank you.
Gonna say, why am I last? Just joking.
Okay, thank you,
Okay.
J Dub.
Thank you. Okay, bye, you
All right,
guys.
y'all take care. Bye.